right now. He wants to take an early fight. This dimensional shift, that's going to spot him out. I mean, this is a must-win right now for Sen. Look at their economy. Has to be committed.
Juicy can't gun down another brace of two this time, and out of the dimensional drift comes second. He is handled. YU is ready for the clone. Here's the double swing now through elbow. He's low. In the war of attrition, one out by Sentinels. Gets him within a 2-round striking distance. Boy, they've had to fight tooth and nail for every single one of these rounds.
Zelsis is simply the hero of this round. Juicy winning 2 isolated 1v1s. And Zelsis knows someone has to be the guy to save this round. I might as well do it. I'm just going to play a weird off angle when they push up into heaven. I just have to get a multiple. That's the only way back in, and he pulls it off.
Round 11 coming at you. That showstopper still there for Juicy. Rolling Thunder for Narrate.
Hell of a lot of ults right now for Wolves. They've got that showstopper to get into a site or even one away from the Nightfall and then throw down that pit to close things out in the post plant.
Narrate here just wanted to play up that fault line in case there's a faster hit in towards B main. Oh, spring court. Second sees it. Nice little 1-2 punch, but quickly Juicy activates over at the A side, and John QT is blown to smithereens. Bang was hoping to find Sufat there, but the Crowler comes out instead. And Lysor is a little bit out of steam.
He is so overextended and caught. If Sufat can get this spike down, he's going to have the Nightfall. That could be enough to turn the tide, despite being at a man disadvantage right now for Wolves.
Neural theft there for YU. Gatecrest sent across to the A side now. It's going to be Juicy sat in elbow.
They have slowed things down, not trying to commit to the plant at the moment.
What is the plan supposed to be? Sufan obviously spike carrier. He's inching forward.
This has been enough time for Narrate's fault line to actually cycle back up, so when the spike does eventually get tapped, there's even more util for Sen to flood in off of.
Okay, I think Sen still confirmed though the Wolves are staying here. Is the Rolling Thunder. This could get ugly. YU on Rafter finds one, but second trades it instantly. Cancel from the shadows. They're least on the off angle. They're not checking it. Bang's able to salvage now for the 1 versus 1. No plant yet. He's caught with a util out.
There's just no way they should be winning this round. There's just no way. Sen man advantage, massive util advantage. Wolves slow down the game. Less time when they actually have to get the spike down, where Sen can exploit that by flooding in, pressuring so hard. They just don't check that corner. They don't think he can be tucked.
I definitely think there's some overheating going on in the Sen camp now, and there's no more opportunities for Kaplan to intercede.
That looks like a bit of frustration coming out from Narrate late in this half.
Attempt. Bang goes to take that 1 versus 1.
Look at the buy now from Sen, their last chance to get around on split defense. Only 4 to their name before the side swap.
This time there's a lot more presence in B main. Zekinen had to be ready in the double swing, catches him off guard. Narrate peels off the line, doesn't want to handle it.
Wolves, in this round, they say, all right, Spring, you're starting to have a little trouble. Let's get you some backup, stack up with multiple players. This time, we're going to overwhelm Sen, who have been happy to fight for that space to find the opening pick. Love that decision from Wolves.
Bang is tentatively looking to retake this ropes position. All of Sen are grouped up. 3 down mid. The Wolves are pretty diligently trying to clear their way into B, but this will take some time. This will buy some time for the flanking troop of Sentinels to wrap around. It's being watched for by YU though. Better weapon. No stingers are not going to hit hard enough at that range. Now the Nightfall over to the B site. Nobody here for Sen. They've all peeled off. There's more on the flank. YU checking for it with the camera. Sees it all. Paranoia comes in and only catches onto the Cypher. There's a real fight here in B main. And Wolves slap Sentinels down. Narrator's had to jump into the pit. No other choice for it. Gets rid of it though with Spring falling. That's the Viper out of the way. Now Narrate can heal back up, but Juicy's waiting for him. It's a 8-4 half here. Wolves introducing Sen to that Chinese Valorant in the most brutal way possible.
They are being outshot. The mechanics right now are just simply better for Wolves. Spring dominant. Juicy's entry is incredible.
All right, we're going to do a break, folks. When we come back, more of split in this game between Sen and Wolves after this. into this second half. Remember, it's really a measure of how much damage you're able to get out of each credit that you spend. And again, between 50 and 70 is really, really good. Siufat definitely getting bang for his buck with that quick 2-piece to clutch the round out at 10 health.
Oh, yeah, the Sheriff, that was certainly a peak for him. And after that point, there just really weren't many situations at all where Wolves were having to go for big buys, having to eco. Their economy was stable throughout that entire half.
The number 3 seed from China, who honestly, in a world where EDG doesn't have a generational crash out in their sort of domestic playoffs, and not even here, are absolutely handling Sentinels here on Split. Holding them to only 4 defense side rounds, 2 timeouts already blown by Set, frustration already bubbling to the surface for this North American squad.
Coming into this game, you're acknowledging the peaks and dips that Wolves had. The fact that they 2-0 Billy Billy to qualify, but then lose 0-3 to Billy Billy in the lower final. This team, when they're hitting though, like they are today, individually are so sick. I mean, Juicy, Siufat, Spring are putting on a show. The 1v1s, the raw duels are just going the way of Wolves right now. Send it to wake up.
Lysol gets first contact here at B. This is going to draw Siufat over towards that side of the map through Swarm, set up from committed.
Waiting right now to just play off of this fault line. Dark cover is going to get thrown down B main by Lysol over there on B, who's stacked up with Siufat. Prowler Reaper is going to get some information onto Bang. Someone just slowly taking the time, posturing up. It's looking like an oncoming B split.
That smoke indicates potential ropes control, but Sen do not have the players on that A side of the map. Definitely going to see them pivot here. And they're trying to cut off Rafters with that smoke to maybe take Heaven control. He's a paranoid that collects cleanly on a Spring. Juicy though playing from within the smoke, deals with Zelsis. And there's a way for Zekin to really get past that, but Siufat trying to hold on the site. He's dug out easily. Zekin has that Rafters control, and low as he is, Sentinels have been able to clear Wolves. Player advantage now, Spike to go down.
Let's see what Spring can do. Working his way into Heaven slowly, has to wait for this dark cover to fade.
Peers down the ropes, doesn't see anything. YU decides this is the time to activate from the defender side. Spawn, Spring wins the duel. That's Beacon. YU do it as well. They can. It's down to 8. Has a flash to work with. Lets it go. It's a matter of playing time, something that Sen couldn't do in that first half when it needed to happen. And now it's ring around the rosy, folks, but now we're going to see them clash. And it's a right click for Narrates. Gives Sen the staging ground on this attack side they were sorely needing.
Desperately for Sen to get back into this game. Get things started right in this second half after not being able to get anything started in the first. And it looked like even here, they were about to once again succumb to the aim of these Wolves players. Spring isolated 1v1 taken against Bang. Gets the adjustment.
Juicy didn't realize there were 2 players in that Heaven smoke. Zekin slipped the net and was able to pick Siufat off on the site. Anti-eco now for Sentinels. Phantom for John.
This is just full 5 classic save here for the Wolves team, so Sen shouldn't be succumbing to too much damage here, ideally.
Trying to get those orbs into Zekin's hands, though. Get those dimensional drifts rolling early.
Yeah, that is the name of the game when you're running Yoru. That has been one of, if not the most relevant meta ults this entire year. Round defining.
Laborious, but the cam is cleared. Sentinels crossing to take that Heaven control, but as we speak, Wolves are coming up from ropes. Spraying through the smoke, Zekin, much to his chagrin, takes some damage and is seized in place. He's able to get at least far enough away from the snake bite, and even a paint shell is committed by Wolves. That's a lot of util drawn out.
Good little combo. He was close to getting one. Zelsis in the meantime. He has just been slow getting into this site, and he's calling for the rest of the team to pivot over now.
Is this an overpush?
Free? No. Almost, but superior weapon comes out on top.
Great mid-smoke here, might be a flash out of it. Siufat's going to have to face them down, but Zekin's going to be there with a stinger. Juicy from the smoke, they emerge, and Zekin will dispatch them. Just YU now, it's outfoxing Zekin. But all things considered, pretty clean anti-eco for Sen gets the 6.
And it gets Zekin just one orb away from the dimensional drift, so they can play to that as a win con now on this bonus. Give Wolves a taste of their own medicine for how they were able to open the game, how they were able to get up in such a significant lead early. Bonus round win here should effectively tie things up, would be worth 2.
Nice pivot there from Sen. With that big control smoke to ropes and then face Wolves as they try and push out.
You see in that moment what we're going to be seeing a lot of on this attack side, which is just an infinite amount of flashes to pop out of these smokes as a team from Sen.
Bonus hit for Sen to see Zekka with a stinger in hand. John checks Heaven and is very lightly held. Wolves have a player in ropes, one just entering that part of the map. Sufat looks to re-clear.
Sufat's actually swinging out. Does have to back away, does have to give that space up. Sen are getting very active right now in Heaven. A lot of control. Wolves pivoting multiple players back. Side to anchor, spring, crucial 1v1.
Interestingly, Wolves playing around this smoke, not looking to get entrenched in elbow, just want to play forward. Spring pops his head up and it's whack-a-mole for John. Okay, the double swing. The stinger gets some value though, and Narrate's able to hold it down from ramp. This just leaves Sufat in screens, and YU, with these rifles, this 4x for Wolves, have to untangle this round, but Sen are giving them nothing, Wyatt.
Unfortunately, this round is displaying what has been a major issue for Wolves defensively on this map. They'll get in positions to flood, but there will be too many isolated duels. Things will get a little disconnected. You had 2 players on site in that smoke, but they didn't pop out at the same time that Spring was swinging open in Heaven. He just goes down on his own in this moment to John. There are 2 players to his right, but there's no one to swing out to help because it's just not coordinated on that timing. And this is going to get Sen an opportunity to tie the game 8-8. This is really my goal for Wolves coming into this match.
There's no initial anchoring presence on that side for Wolves either. They had to awkwardly filter in as Heaven's being taken. Spring passive holding mid. Nice is awkward now. No one to swing off that line, and we are caught in the aftershock. Narrate guarantees that easy kill. 3 players with Sheriffs is all that Wolves have to their name.
Great for Sen to have this level of momentum coming into the second half. Their economy is absolutely rolling. Unlikely that Wolves will be able to get any damage off something. I don't know, maybe 1 kill if Sufat can get a nice little jiggle peek here, but this is going to put Sen ahead by a significant margin and apply so much pressure to each of these buy rounds that Wolves are going to have subsequent rounds.
Well, death and taxes. Sufat's able to find his 1. It doesn't really change the fact that Sen are crawling over this A site like a kicked anthill. And there are only 2 Sheriffs for Wolves to try and extract them. Sufat doubles back here. Prowler down ramp. There's no one there. Sen are just entrenched on this A site, ready to fight for it.
Just have the Wolves players ready to play for exits, see if they can't take one of these guns away.
I still got a rifle. Pick up Zel's fallen weapon, presumably.
One of the 20 flashes they have to take a peek. Ooh, there's number 19.
Oh, I love that foul line. Just as Sen crossing, making sure no one can peer in. Lysor never had an opportunity to take a fight, but he will be allowed to walk away with this rifle. However, Sen City have evened up this game, folks, on a run after winning the pistol in the second half. And Wolves starting to whimper a little in that round.
And Sen have more than a real opportunity to extend this run to 5 rounds straight. Given the ultimates that they have when we get out of this timeout that's being called by Wolves. And a pivotal round in the where Sen can outright win. They have a Rolling Thunder and a Dimensional Drift. Wolves have nothing to lose in the ult department outside of a neural theft, and obviously that is a one-sided map when we're talking about the ult economy.
Let's get this shit.
The Bishop of Sen City.
Wolves are going to need to tighten up their floods right now. They're going to have to be able to absorb this Sentinel's utility when it's coming into the site. not drop players anchoring. There's too much initiator util. There are too many flashes to play around. The ults are going to be too much to play around. They're going to need to find a way to absorb all of that, not go down, and then tighten up those timings when they're going to try to flood back in after the fact.
Really volatile attack side from Wolves, but it was enough to catch Sen off guard on multiple occasions. On this side of the map though, with Sentinels being able to dictate the pace, Wolves have looked a little bit disjointed, a little less comfortable. Now though, they're going to buy coming back in. 4 rounds in a row given over to Sentinels, and an even game for us as we head into round number 17.
Sentinels have the spike over towards that B side, certainly implying that they want to go for a split. This is what they did earlier. They have Zekken and Zelsis, that duo working mid. While the rest of the team take B main.
Who's next? Dimensional drift.
Yeah,
Zekken's eating those orbs.
Zekken's going to get all of this info and then can get away to B main if he needs to. This is why you genuinely want to fight this. He needs to get out of here right now. He's going back in to fight Zekken. This is mental.
Bone thrown out. Waiyu is going to be in trouble. Just set up on all sides. No escape. Spring tries to help him out, bail him out. He gives himself up as well. This is the rifle round for Wolves. And they're at such a massive disadvantage already.
My ult's ready.
It's just disjointed. They're not operating as a full team in that moment. Waiyu makes too reckless of a decision trying to get back in there. He's going to get overwhelmed and does. At best, maybe goes 1 for 1. And then Spring feels like he needs to come in to help. No one else is on the rotate over just yet. They were trying to pivot over mostly from that A side. Not close to assist. Pretty devastating. At least for Wolves with this save, they'll have an opportunity for redemption on this next round. Not a blowout, not going to have to eco, not allow Sen to get to 10 with ease. But they are truly in the danger zone. They are still staring down the barrel of that Rolling Thunder from the raid, and now John has the Seekers. Just a streamline of ultimates from Sen to get advantages in all of these important gun rounds.
For Sen, that's such a cost-effective round win. They just commit the dimensional drift. They realize that Waiyu is still on that B site. They set a 4-line up for Zekken to fight, and Waiyu decides he wants to double back. But now that animated-looking Wolf squad really just buoyed forward by the momentum from some of their individual plays have gone quiet, have gone off the boil. What can they manufacture here? Still a buy for them in fairness. 2 half armors, but reasonable arsenal, all things considered.
Sen posted up right now for that ramp take. Of course, you can see Nere ready with the fault line.
Oh.
It's just spammed through.
Juicy here, the only player occupying heaven right now. That TP sound cue for him just makes him uncomfortable, forces him down. Spring will be there on the top of road.
The aftershock, able to dodge it, and Lysor catches out Bang to even things up. Juicy is a wild player.
And that is just spray through the walls from both teams. Live by the sword, Bang, die by the sword as well.
Sen are going for the noise cut right now. And still just have it's this duo, Zelsis and Zekken, who are working the map together on so many of these rounds, trying to contact up, take this space.
There's no way Spring
is just...
Oh, wait, the timing? He's turned! Zekken brings him up! Waiyu, the sole player over at the B side of the map, and this is going to get a bit hairy for him. Does he choose to try and fight, to commit to this engagement? Got a trap wire on the side. Cam also set up. He's going to play close under rafters, but he is overrun by the double swing.
30 seconds left.
Juicy ascending with bleed, fighting through tier 2 to make it back onto this team when it wasn't a spot for him in Pacific. He's going to go looking via Ramen.
That's a wait years to get this opportunity. Has a rifle right now. Can he be the hero?
Surely not another save for Wolves. They're starting to get a little bit desperate.
The time has just dropped so low for them.
They're giving it up.
Damage doesn't even matter. Look at the state of Sen's economy. Multiple players on 8K.
And honestly, this run of rounds, devastating. That is 6 rounds in a row for Sentinels. Now starting to put the timer on Wolves, threatening to close the game out. With the 2-gun save, though, they can definitely distribute enough around to keep themselves well armed. But there's a Rolling Thunder still waiting in the wings for Sen to make use of. And yeah, can see it now. They've shaken those jitters off.
These late anchor attempts just continue to get overwhelmed entirely.
Oh, he sees
Sen players.
just a glimpse of them through that wall, and bang is... I mean, that boy don't miss. Sheesh.
Catch on the spring is so unfortunate. Almost had the turn. 1 second had already gone to the close road.
It's a goal!
Wolves calling their second timeout now of the game. As things have completely gotten out of hand. 6-round run for Sen on this side.
Can definitely feel like we're starting to get to the most important round of the game here in round number 19. When we jump back in, Wolves will have been able to buy up. Close to a Nightfall, close to a Viper's Pit. Honestly, a lot of those big ultimates are just around the corner for them, but they want to be able to make use of them when they're in a good position economically. And this round would be one of those opportunities. Elsewhere, Narrator's has run away with the game on an individual level now. He's sitting on that Breach ultimate. Those hard sight hits already. Wolves have struggled with the pace that Sen have come at them with on this attack side. That's going to make it even harder.
Nereid's clutch back on the pistol round, that is, gotten them in this position. That's what kicked it off. Wolves yet to do anything highly proactive early in these rounds. Not really taking the fight to Sen too aggro. It's a little too much anchoring attempt against this comp from Sen that is too overwhelming on the execs. Feels like they gotta play for something aggro early, take some space, find some picks, or tighten up those floods, play for that as a win con, especially if they're able to get this Nightfall somewhere for Sufat.
Full armor for Wolves. A very respectable buy, I think, considered maybe a little neutral light, but that is fine.
They have actually opted to just give up this B site. They have a kill trip set up that
What is Spring?
Why he was hoping to just get a spam kill from.
The Spring wants to fight even Rafters. What is that? Unhinged from Spring.
Oh, desperate from Spring to try and get something done.
He's on his own. We talked about this. Out of the open, trying to take a duel as a Viper. Here's that attack side, Viper's Pit. Lysol trying to get busy now. No Zekin is in the corner, but the shorty comes calling. With the pride of New Jersey, will have his pound of flesh. Juicy dropping down. Pit still active, of course. Juicy trying to disrupt.
One more kill and he'd actually get the showstopper.
And that will be perfect against this Viper's Pit. Can he find it safely? They're on a clock. 2 players left here for Wolves. Losing this round will banish them to the economic doldrums, and John waits patiently for his prey. Juicy serves it up. Sufat has to walk away now. Maybe an exit or so. But there's no stopping the Sen economy. It is absolutely booming. Sufat will do what he can. On the rope, Celsius, an homage to his mate Arsena, I'm sure. That's Sen with 3 rounds in the lead, and we're out of our seats once more.
It looked like Wolves had the right approach there. They were just playing off of a kill trip. They give up the site, allow the stack on A. So if Sen do hit A, they've got 3 players there ready to go. And then when necessary, we'll move over, pivot into a flood, or just go for a full retake. Either one would have been highly recommended over that disjointed effort that came in. So unfortunate. This is it for Wolves. Full investment, 4 ultimates on the board.
And a slow start here for Sentinels. They do have Bang pushed up in the B main though. Why are you very passive on this side of the map? So last round Wolves, in theory, gave up that B side until Spring decided to ungive it up. Well, we all know how that went. Prowler into B main, they're clearing it. Spring pops that poison orb now, probably has a feeling there's quite a few players here. Is that Snakebite quick enough? Bang gets ahead of much of this util now. And there's the Nightfall. Gonna reveal his location.
This Prowler fully spotting him out. Spring's steadfast right now. Just has not been able to get started on this defensive side. Wants to go for the peak. Can he actually catch the timing right now?
No one in heaven to be effective by that.
That's the spike down.
Push from Spring. Bang. Just gets the spike, gets out, but he knows he's going to be pursued. YU from the low ground's not able to win it out, and here's a showstopper from Juicy. Where does this one go? Unfortunately, into the rafters. No connection. Zekin gate crash into the back of the site. The spike, though, is loose out in the middle of B.
Spring right now trying to get back in. That distraction from the showstopper was enough for Sufat to get them that man advantage. 25 seconds right now. The spike is down in the site. Sentinels have to fully commit. This is the best opportunity Wolves have had.
Dangerous double swing. Yep, that's going to be double hell that angle that Zekin goes into. Narrate tried to set him up with a forward line, and now it's down to Zelsus in the dying seconds of the round, but he's hit with the paranoia.
10 seconds
Nearsighted, player in heaven. One on boxes and Sufat towards his left. It is a ridiculous stacked deck against him. And so Wolves finally dig their heels in. They waited a long time for this round, their first of the half.
They can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, but they were finally able to get on the board here. Finally able to make some adjustments. Spring biding his time in vents. Sen not expecting him to pop out so late. Catches that first kill, and then they do flood back into the site. They are playing together. Juicy gets that great showstopper. He didn't actually get a kill, but he was a hell of a distraction for the Anchors to be able to pick up those players that were on site to find the advantage. Wolves are back in the game, but Sen still have too much cash.
Sees here, Bang. Has the TP away from it. It was a fault line that directly connected with Juicy, but his team's util bailed him out.
Again, I like this from Wolves out of that previous timeout. It was called by Coach Fade. They're stacking up towards A, allowing B just to be played for passive kill trips. If Sen do go towards this site, they're going to be running into so many players.
Scout destroyed.
Trailblazer goes up ramps here. Sen still haven't taken much control of the A side, but up mid they're starting to poke and prod.
Second did teleport away to meet up with the rest of the pack. The entire Sen team are about to be in mid right now. Spring could be in some danger here. He's tucked in a corner. He can't get out to the left side. Now could with the dark cover placed.
Let them cross mid. Mostly undetected. You see, Wolves now starting to forge ahead for a bit of information. That re-clear of B as main was too early.
Yeah, that was some false info. Wait, they do still have 3 players here, though. Actually, Wolves, they had not departed from this site.
The cam's there as well. YU likely able to spot Sentinels out of here. They come. Viper's Pit used defensively to try to stop them in their tracks for Zekin. Gate crashes onto the site. Spring inside the Viper's Pit. We have a TP by Bang to the back of the site. He clears a trap wire though, so has to give himself away. And it's getting messy in the Viper's Pit. The spray is there. Bang's able to bring Juicy down. Now 3 up for Wolves still. With the Viper's Pit, they slow Sen down to a crawl.
Great read on the situation. Even after that Prowler that gave false info, they stayed committed into that site with multiple players. Sufa ready for the teleport back from Zekin. It didn't end up paying off, but that little kill trip back there is also to deal with Zekin. If he just runs forward, he's caught, because that is your standard gate crash location from the Ori. Get in deep while the rest of the team come out main, but they couldn't. They were cut off by that pit. Perfect timing from Spring. The past 2 rounds, he is getting involved on this defensive half after being just going cold for that early Sen run.
Now this is getting interesting. 1 round in the game, both teams with full buys.
And the Sentinels' economy is actually being depleted at this point. At one point, having 3 players with 8+ K.
Spring here sees the clone come in. Paranoia hit.
The
Bang's gonna try and walk away.
Oh,
God.
gila selamat
Great
anjay.
little combo again.
The reaction from Bang was so fast there. All right, pressure onto Lifesword. Backside has to go off.
Flashed. Fault line doesn't quite hit him. Lifesword trying to connect. It's missed it. What a whiff. Here though, the control from screens is good, and Zek is out in the open. John able to find Juicy at the very least, and now they've evened up the odds. YU tentative about playing from rafters. The spike though still off the A side. Zelsus though is in there.
That neural theft getting some serious value for a Wolves game, slowing down right now. Sentinels want to see if they're going to peek out. It's all on YU 1 versus 2, as Sentinels are going to get a match point. We saw Bang win a clutch in this exact same situation in that first half. Can YU do the same?
He's going natty. None of that side for Util is here on A.
30 seconds
Nothing but that
left.
raw gun skill. Instead of trying to draw him out, tapping the spike. Still 23 seconds left of the round. And YU has been ever so patient. John sticks it for real though.
Planted.
Now Zelsus and John grouped up here. Looks like Zelsus should be watching this line, and YU swings it. 1 round away from a map win for Sentinels. And the vibes are looking pretty good.
John and Zelsus just watching each other's backs, trying to bait out that swing. Love the way they play that. It was looking so good for Wolves when they had that double face coming from screens. Juicy comes out of heaven. But it's that additional swing where John finds that kill to make it a 2 versus 2 that puts him in a winnable position. I feel they're stepping up for Sen when necessary. Wolves are in the right place at the right time again, but Sen come out on top. Match point, opportunity to steal away Wolves' pick.
And a dimensional drift to start the round for second, but Spring's already found something. Zelsa's straight down mid.
I think that was just spam down mid.
This finally gets in the back of the site. There's no trip here to stop Zekin though, so Sen have this big control. Crowler thrown out once again. Bang has to TP away. And it's Narrate with the spike in hand. They've got to be concerned about this heaven control. Wolves have 3 players up there, and the Seekers are going to confirm this largely.
John wants to go for the reflank. The mid is actually tripped right now. That one-way trip is still, or one-way unbreakable rather, is still up there, so he's going to have to deal with that.
Okay, Juicy flies in, the judge! Zekin's having to trade it out. Gate crash now to a safer position. Bang is still on the side. Zekin runs into Lice.
John is coming on the flank, but Zekin is going off.
Just John now.
They know he should be here. He had to break the trip.
The timing, John's going to commit to the site. Spring down through the smoke. Silfat on the other side of the dark cover. John very, very low, but he's buying time.
He got it to half. There's no way. There's just no way he can stick it.
Silfat saves the map for Wolves. Gets it to half. And knows that John can only give him a tickle of the avian variety. Just throws a flash in, and that's all he can muster.
He's been the IGL team leader and clutch merchant for Wolves. Both halves winning critical rounds. Juicy just goes 1 for 1, but what a distraction for the rest of the team to get back in. And the fact that mid was stripped, John just couldn't actually accelerate to help these guys. Second almost came up with that multi-kill.
And now it's awkward for Sens. 2 stingers to their name.
And now that we've just gotten into this retake, better flood territory, Wolves are wrangling this game back. Multiple stingers for Sen.
But a couple Guardians for Wolves. Neither team are comfortable economically.
Wolves are a couple orbs away here from critical ultimates. Nightfall, Showstopper, only requiring 1 each.
Do they dare push up to that? There's no way. Why are you anchored on the site? We'll have Juicy on rafters early. This might be signaling an A split through rope here by Sentinels. Trip cleared. Clone gonna eat it up now. How do you respond as the defenders?
Wolves are posturing towards B heaven. That's actually going to be a teleport to get info in A main and a cancel. But John,
It's false info.
a bit far back, as is Zelsis. This hasn't called for any adjustment in the Wolves' positioning. Here comes this breach utility, guys. We're definitely pivoting into B. I swear.
He's selling it.
I swear we're going B.
The right even gives up a bit of his health in order to sell it, and he does keep Juicy interested at B for now. Heaven control for Sentinels.
Okay, crash deep from second. Fake teleport.
Bang caught in the seas, but will heal back up after the decay. Silfat here. Oh, Spring wants to take a fight characteristically. He also flubs the shot. Sen running over this A site. 10 seconds left for a spike point. That was going to happen soon. Here's second into the fault line.
He has the showstopper. Oh, but he goes down.
There it is, folks. John runs Wagyu down and Sen after a paltry 4 defense side rounds. Come alive in Toronto.
Wolves on an unreal run to open this game on attack, going up 8-4. Multiple players hitting hard, but what a comeback for Sen.
And that's just the first map of this series, so we've still got loads on the horizon, plenty of opportunities for Wolves to break back in. Do not go anywhere. This series promises to be electric.
Nice, boys! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, boys! Nice, Sean! Bro, this mother smiles at me, bro. Win this shit. Got mine, and that's what matters. This, bro.
watch me do it again.
I don't really like committing to things. I'm scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you hear me now?
Hey,
Let me show you how the folks does. Oh man, I was just getting warmed up.
spike defused.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Don't play with your karma. With a kink in your armor. Don't fake like an actor. Let the lie to your pastor. Focus like a laser. When you leap from the rafters. Better off going harder. You don't wanna be a martyr. When you flirt with disaster. When you flirt with this When you flirt with this When you flirt with this Don't steal from your brother. It might tear what you're after. It might tear. Prepare for the danger. Prepare when you call out your master. Call him out. Don't trust in a stranger. Get killed if you captured. Sabotage in the parlor. You don't wanna be a martyr. When you flirt with disaster.
Hello everyone, Jen Lee here with Coach Kaplan. Now, Coach, that was a close game. I mean, thank God it didn't go overtime, right? Did anything surprise you from the side of the Wolves?
Nothing surprised us, but some of the stuff that we anticipated, it's hard to find practice against. You know, they're from a different region, they play a different way, so I think executing some of the ideas we had proved harder than we wanted on defense, but we were all confident we'd bring it back on attack.
Good luck on Lotus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sentinels really giving their fans in the arena something to cheer for. What a start from them. I am Yingsun. I'm back here with Ender and Mel. It was close. It was very, very close, Mel. I think a lot closer than we anticipated.
I think a lot of people were not expecting it to be that close. I mean, not, 45 minutes ago, I was here on the desk saying, yeah, Sen's got this, absolutely, and it got extremely close to the point where I thought they were going to lose the map.
I mean, honestly, the first half, like, they were getting crushed. Like, Spring's lurks were so effective. I think the just clutchness out of the Wolves players was looking incredibly good. It wasn't until the second half when Sentinels got onto attack, Narrate had those few clutch rounds on the pistol and on the bonus that got things swinging back in their favor.
Yeah, and that brings us to our Verizon high-speed moment, and it goes to Bang for an incredible 4K at this point, and to even keep them in this map.
Yeah, and again, it's all set up with a
narrate some. These 4 players flood out. There's a flash from John QT, then the stun from narrate, and then Bang just lines them all up. I mean, this is Sentinel's team play at its final, and it's Bang to shine.
I mean, this is like the perfect dream situation as an anchor player. The stun hits, the flash hits, and no one's looking at you. I mean, this is just the meat and potatoes. This is amazing.
You gotta feel sorry on the other side for Lysor as well, because he was playing in that position a lot in the second half. Thanks, Celsius, for that. But Mel, Lysor, 2 crucial rounds, maybe whipping a little bit, maybe the pressure on stage, maybe could have made the difference.
The difference in between those positions, like you said, played the exact same position, but the difference could not be more staggeringly different. Like, there's one round where there's 2 sets of util, and there's one round he's just dry peeking. He has opportunity, but he can't capitalize.
And if that was the first time we've seen QT play Sky on Sentinels, he hasn't done it for this team yet. Was that the plug-and-play that you expected when you saw the agent select?
To a certain extent, right? The Teo, the Sky both give some information. I mean, Sky is actually even better in terms of the info, but I think that what we were seeing a lot from John was more sort of set up for his teammates to go into sight with the flashes. There were a lot of rounds where Narrate was actually banking flashes deep into the rounds, and it was him comboing with the stun to go into the sights, and it was just so many of these 5-player hits that John just kept calling over and over to win on the exec game.
And I think that's a great read from him as an IGL, understanding the win conditions of their composition, because Wolves on their side, very slow game plan, very contacty.
Yeah.
Sentinels, IGL, like John, completely understanding that they need to have very tight executes, and the ults especially, the ult rounds were just beautiful.
The ults were a consistent winning factor for Sentinels, because in that second half, they're down 8-4. It's looking grim for them, right? But winning pistol, winning the bonus, that sets them up to get their ults online first. And then, because they start winning these rounds with their ultimate so quickly on the 5-player execs John was calling, you have so many situations where the Fade and the Raze from Wolves are saving on those players, not getting their ult online. It wasn't until round 21 that they had a Fade or Raze ult. They win that one and make it close.
Yeah, as we move on to the next map of Pearl, this is where our questions go towards the side of Narrate. What is he going to play? Not Pearl, sorry, I trolled. Lotus even.
Lotus, there we go.
I wish it was Pearl. It would have been tough between these 2 teams. But for Lotus, what does Narrate do here? You know, Sky, probably not. Probably not, right, Mel?
Yeah, and I think that's something from Wolves' perspective, it's kind of hard to prep for. I mean, already the first match that you're playing at Masters Toronto, you're already going in blind considering the map pool changes and the patch changes, but especially when you're dealing with a team like Sentinels where several players in the team can play Initiator, it's very hard to predict what's going to happen and who's playing what.
Yeah, honestly, I'm expecting to see some Fade coming online. I think Fade's so strong on this map, and if it's plug and play, Sky is a split map, or splits a Sky map, Lotus is a Fade map.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what we're going to get in terms of comps. But for now, let's send it back to Jen and see what Coach Fade had to say ahead of map 2.
Hello everyone, Jen Lee here with Coach Fade. Now Fade, split did not go your way, but the potential was definitely there. So what do you think you guys need to do on Lotus to take it to map 3?
I think we have to clean up some nerves in our own team, and we had a lot of miscommunication earlier during the second half especially. So once we get that sorted, I think we will be fine on second map and third map.
Alright, thank you, and good luck on Lotus.
I think we saw some of those nerves that he was talking about, but that IGL Sufa, I didn't think he was nervous at all. He was hitting his shots. The Fade didn't look too bad. Right, it almost happened twice as well. But Mel, he usually plays the Tejo here on Lotus. What do you think he's going to play this time?
I'm curious to know as well, because I'm not really sure. Because I think a lot of it, to go back to what he was saying about the nerves, I think is probably the most important thing, because on defense, I actually thought that Wolves could have gone away with that 10-2.
Honestly.
They had a lot of advantages, and Sentinels as well on the defense. Historically, they op a lot on the defense on split, and notably, this is the first time I've really seen them not bring it out, and that is a very intentional choice, and Kaplan even touched on it, saying, I think some of our defense game plans didn't perfectly go through, so a lot of it, I feel like, does come down to Wolves. Can you capitalize on the mistakes and the flaws in their game plan? Can you pull up? Can you actually meet the pressure? And I think the nerves is a big part of that.
And especially looking at Lotus, a map that's all about these sort of opening skirmishes, fights for rubble, fight for sand control. Both these teams love to show a lot of utility early on in rounds. rounds, it's going to be looking at guys like Zek, it's going to be looking at guys like Juicy to find those opening kills to get the advantage for their team.
We are just moments away from Agent Select. Sufa here, you can see him giving his team a bit of a pep talk. He's definitely being one of the more animated one, carrying them through the emotions, through the vibes, going toe-to-toe against Zelsis of all people.
Hard.
Very
impressive,
very impressive. I definitely want to see what they're going to do moving away from that Tejo as we move on to Lotus.
Yeah, the atmosphere on stage has been great with...
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Sentinels are doing some trolling, they're doing some crowd work, they're having fun up there.
I mean, if Wolves lock in right here, Mel, you're familiar with this comp.
Oh, I love this comp, and you too, aren't you? The Fnatic comp, as I like to call it.
Just a little bit.
The Fade, the double controller, I think this is very much, we might see a very similar game style as to the first map where they play very slow and very contacty, and that makes me a little bit worried again for Sentinels on the defense.
I will say, John QT's on Viper. This is not normally what he's playing. It's Zelsis on the Viper. This time Zelsis going over to the Vise, so playing Senti on this map for Sen. It will be the Fade in the hands of Narrates. This makes a little bit more sense in terms of roles, but we're still not seeing John return to the Senti of old.
When was the last time we saw him play Viper?
That's a great question.
I can answer that in just a moment, but on Lotus, he has played it like one time here and there. But like you said, not something that we see very often. But what about this Vice?
From Zelsis, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Zelsis could make a great Fade here, or not Fade, excuse me, a great Vice here. His anchoring has looked phenomenal as well, so nothing too crazy for me. I'm expecting greatness from him on the Vice.
Yeah, honestly, Vice with a double smoke to back it up is really hard to break through on the defensive side. It can isolate your Raze player when you're trying to dive into sight. There's no Yoru clone or anything like that to break away the wall easily, so this makes things a little bit more challenging for Wolves to deal with in the mid-rounds of finding and dealing with the Vice util.
I think a big part here, what I'm looking at Sentinels, is if they're going to play against another contacty comp, I need to see them win these fights early.
Well, we've seen this comp many times in the past. I can't wait to see what Wolves are going to bring, because Uber and Wyatt, if they win this, they'll bring it to a map 3.
Frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way into a full-round defensive path from Sen on Split sees them explode into winning the map. It was, for no good reason, a legendary clash between Sentinels and Wolves. And now heading over to Lotus, it looks like Wyatt Tejo's departure has taken us back to some of the more traditional comps we've seen here.
This is vintage stuff. The only difference being that Sentinels are bringing in the Vice, which has been so popular on this map, and specifically when you're looking at Zelsis on this agent, very refined, excellent, anchoring over towards that C site. Has some pretty standard setups over towards A that he just continues to play off of very well. You can already see he has his patented arc rows over there in tree. Some little things that Wolves are definitely going to be or should be prepared for when they've been reviewing the Sen VODs. But yeah, the biggest departure for me is the fact that Second's Yoru was lethal on this map. Last we saw Sen against MIBR in America's upper final, which pivoted back to the Rays. I mean, a vintage second agent.
Absolutely. No early rebel fight here for Sen. Very passively here on the A side of the map with the drift over the stairs by Narrate. Zelsis is about to get busy, but Bang already emerges. He holds it down, peeking over towards the push to Tree.
Cover going out.
Lysol might yet make a pivot here towards the B side where Zekken will be waiting, paint shells in hand. Early encounter at C as well. Wolves testing every avenue.
They're so spread out at the moment. The Lysor is just solo walked into B and is going to get the spike down. All right, cool. Spring with that Sheriff, getting some damage done through the dark cover, spamming away. Triple players stack up from Sen, trying to get through Baby.
He's alone. Lysor is still alone right now.
All the timing.
Not able to get away from that. C is going to be thrown in. Lysor at 2, finds at least 1. Narrate, a tap on the spike here. Door opening up. Prowler to herald the arrival of Wolves as they try and stop this retake. But Sen, hard hitting. They spring out of the open and out of luck.
That's Wolves down a player early on account of Bang, but then just being very disconnected as Lysor knows he can get a free plant, but no one's really in position to take any further positioning.
Spring threw up a Viper wall that allowed the 3 Sen players to get into Baby Door for a 3v1 against Lysor to start that retake.
Yeah, unfortunately, just due to where all the players were and the importance of taking further space, towards defender spawn after getting the spike down on B and C especially. They're just not able to do that because all of the Wolves players are spread across the map. They can only get back to B main and spam, and they're at a disadvantage. They're just never going to win that. Wolves are going for the force right now. Juicy has the Bucky.
Maybe looking for more of a close quarters context.
And he's going to make it close quarters with a double satchel.
Yep, here we go. Juicy coming on in. Narrate has to hear this. Oh, Juicy! Well, has his wings clipped as he tries to cross that B side. Already big mound control. Bang, pushing up. Has to be aware that B main is where Wolves are currently milling about.
Wolves there displaying for us why the Vice is just so effective on this map. They're going to need to be able to proc that wall so Juicy doesn't end up in situations like that. We know he's going to be double satcheling in deep, but if the rest of the team are cut off by
salah mencet kok.
this year, he's going
some visitors. It's a 1-for-1. Spike recovered, of course. Sufat now needs to make a decision. They've got that stairs control on A, but he's still fancy B for a moment, and there it just took too long. Zelsa's caught a timing on Spring, and now Sufat's got no choice but to go towards the B side, where Zekin will be lying in wait.
30 seconds left.
again, unfortunately for Wolves, the players are just so separated from each other
Bam.
on individual missions, and this, what looked like attempt to be the Stinger rush onto the B site was ultimately just denied by the Sentinel utility, and from there things have slowly collapsed. While you're left alone, surely going to be going down to second here. Closing out the round in pretty clean fashion for Sen against the buy. So opportunity to get to 3 here now against Wolves early. Get a nice little lead on their own map pick. I like what Kaplan said. It was interesting to hear. And then just on that map, the difference in play from the regions. We're not scrimming against teams like this. It was hard to get our own game plan online because we're just not used to what Wolves were doing.
Because Wolves made that force in round number 2. They've really got so little to work with, and this for Sen is an opportunity to build a massive economy on his defense side.
Of course, that Outlaw still going to be getting value for Zekin as he pushes up and gets space on Rubble with the rest of the team. Wolves are triple faced on B, hoping that someone from Sentinels will decide to go for a peek. That's not going to be the case right now. Taking it slow, hoping to collect some orbs. And back in the meta of Lotus, when these comps pretty much ran for an entire year, the game was really ult orb dependent. Getting those showstoppers was of the utmost importance.
Wolves get the sheer wall. Only about 6 to 7 seconds before they can circle back to C. That does seem to be the plan, though. Slowly extract themselves. Fighting for Rubble might be a dangerous proposition for them, but Narrate is the one with the ghost.
I'll find you.
Perhaps an easier target to knock down. Confirms that there's at least one player still here. Bank's going to have to play off of this fade positioning.
Just ready to send out the paranoia off contact. Oh! Okay. No way. There's just no way. That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening.
Now it's going to be on Zekin. A little bit awkward. Outlaw with a ton of targets to find, and Juicy trying to get across with a blast pack. That's 2. He'll fall off the line now. Paint shells to follow up. Peaks with the classic. He's bought enough space, though, at least for Sen to get the reinforcements in place, and so they do.
Sufa is so far away right now. He's a B having to go through big door. Spring is going to need to do even more work with his Sheriff. And it feels wrong that the ask is on him to do more in this round.
Sufat is here. Sentinel's now going to make this push up, likely a double swing. John in second here on this line. Celsius with his back to Spring's position.
No.
His head cleaned off. Now 2 left. Second finally shuts down the rampaging Spring. Up Spring comes Summer, and Sufat's about to make it hot and heavy. Backs away, no time. Plays it like an absolute champion. That is not around. You have any business winning?
That feels impossible and should be impossible. How is that double setup from Sen towards Rubble dismantled? There's no util for Wolves to get out aside from using the wall to get forward. Sees what a shot! And the crosshair placement from Bang, who throws down the dark cover and throws out the paranoia. There's just no way.
One enemy remaining.
And then after that, Spring, could you actually do some more for us? Could you get another kill?
Come on. Expertly in that moment. The second's got no choice but to run at him.
Wow, look at this. Read on the economy from Spring. Outlaw,
My ult is ready.
5 one-shottable targets. Everyone from Sen on lighter regen.
Sen know they've given that weapon over though. They know they need to play around it. 0 peaks off the seaside here.
Wolves do a nice job getting all of the space towards Mound and drawing a bit of attention from Sentinels, even procking the door. Celsius wants to go for some spam in case they are actually trying to get into B main at the moment.
Down to the minute mark in the round. Still nothing drawn out by Sentinels. Nothing really for Spring to look at with this Outlaw.
And this is Supa just on a solo effort to keep the attention here. He's doing everything. He's throwing prowlers, he's opening the door, he's getting the orb. And there are 3 players mostly drifted towards that area of the map. It's going to be an A re-clear again. Can bang right the wrongs from that prior round.
Narrate never had to show himself there either. It was awkward, but Narrate last time they were here had only a ghost. This time they're armed to the teeth. YU is able to draw that sheer wall out, but the fight's definitely happening over towards Rubble. Send back up on it though. 25 seconds left in the round. Wolves have to make a decision.
Oh, they aren't. They're still too indecisive. They're going back towards Mound now. They're in a 2-1-1 with 15 seconds left. The round is just over.
They've got no duelists. They've got no entry on this site.
They can't even get past the thorns that are there. Now they're trying to get into B. This is mad.
Okay, 7 seconds left and they're going to go for it. Snake bite on the ground. Lysor knows he's going to lose much of his health. And it's exactly with the showstopper. Brings the house down on Wolves. What a bizarre round. And Wolves bleed the clock a little too much.
The indecision is their enemy there. You have Sufa making that tons of noise over towards C in the mid-round. But Wolves, after losing Juicy on this entry towards A, they just did not want to commit through the dark cover. It's actually going to be an early timeout called right now by Coach Fade, and I am not mad at that. We, in fact, saw at the end of Split, it was his second timeout that got Wolves back in the game. That is when they started to put together some defensive rounds. He gave them the right adjustments to make.
We just take stock of things here. Because after the round at Wolves, they win a ridiculous round in round number 3. They come out with an Outlaw. Sentinels are all half-armored, all regen shields. They do not have the ability to tank one of those Outlaw hits. And they just give Wolves nothing. Not a thing. Play so safe, and it's eventually that swing on Rubble that gets Sen with the advantage. And Wolves have no idea where to go.
Look, one of the issues there is the fact that because it is Sufa making all the noise towards C, they don't actually have any of that initiator utility to get out on A. You don't have a Prowler that can go clear Rubble to get on to
reminds me of the old MIBR solo Skylar on Sunset, you know?
Deep pull, but true. I mean, accurate, but...
Using your initiator to try and sell a fake, though, a lot of that util can be really valuable to gain real map control.
You can just see, yeah, because then after Juicy goes down, they're like, we can't really get out of the smoke, can we?
There's 2 Razorvines on C. They have no raise, so they're never going to get on that side. Ugly stuff.
All right, what's the plan for Wolves out of this timeout? They're nearing many ultimates. Sen expending some to win one of those prior rounds. So when we get to Wolves' full buy, that can certainly be the linchpin of a win there. Here, they're hoping it's just going to be one of these 2 hero rifles.
Don playing a bit further forward this time around. Knows that Wolves are actually less cashed up this time around. See a lot of heads though, and Juicy, man, he is clean with it. His Sheriff's claims the first. Celsius is seized here, decayed down. There's a window here. Pops the Razorvine. They can't quite get purchased on it.
Celsius
extends. Spike loose. Lysor, though, is able to at least to salvage. Zekin's going to be here. Spray down's a bit wayward, and Lysor's gotten in onto the C side now. Zekin's paint shells do not get any value.
Slowly trying to get towards Bend right now. Not comfortable getting the spike down just yet. Narrate has a fair amount of initiator utility to use to get back in, and Bang is on a long flank right now. Will Wolves expect it?
YU checks for it, but can't beat Bang. Paranoia comes in, Lysor and Spring forced to just double up at the bottom of the seaside. Bang must have spotted them there with a shoulder peek. Perhaps not, as still eyes are looking towards the Bend. There's Spring, just sees a head pop up. That's stunning stuff. Eventually, though, taken down. It's Lysor with less than 50 health to play. Time is of the essence, and Sen are fully cognizant. They'll have themselves their 4th round.
Credit to Bang there, able to win the duel on the flank. That is the highest impact killer in that situation you could possibly find. Then you have the other two players being encircled from multiple different angles.
Look at a brute force solution to trying to get Zelsis out of that corner.
I mean, I'm not mad at them fighting it, it's just that they didn't really fight it together. If they both kind of got out and were spraying, they might have just gotten that kill in clean fashion, but they weren't doubled up. Zelsis getting that one was pivotal as well.
Zekin is 8-1. Night and day comparison to his start of his split game. Running it back on the Rays after all this time.
We really have not been getting much of the Zekin Rays, if at all, this year, but that is his, or was his go-to agent. That's what he was known for, the flex Rays play. Here comes Juicy fast into the side. That's a dodge. The arc road shut down.
Straight into the Razor Vine as well. Zelsis now wants to assume some more control, but he's likely hoped this TP forward by Lysor. He gives up the side. Play for the retake.
In the meantime, YU did actually find a kill with one of the players from Sen on the cross towards B. Bang teleporting over to assist. This lockdown is going to keep the Sentinels team at bay. Should give Wolves a free plant here.
Yeah, look at, how much of Wolves this covers. Wolves also pinging the one gap in that. Oh, John, that is stunning. Gets detained, but there's no chance for Wolves to follow up on this. Spam down through the smoke, finds to be another one. Here's the Nightfall down from the attack side. Wolves want to try and assume as much control of C as they can. They've even committed a Viper's Pit to that effect.
Yeah, this round is must win. They have to send it all. YU spam kill.
Spring in the pit, dancing around. Narrate finds him before he decays too low. That's a Viper's Pit now gone. YU and Sufat in this corner. Zelsis and Narrate do not have the util to clear them from this. Gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Spray down through the corner. Zelsis exposed himself to Sufat on the tight angle, and Narrate does not have the health to bail Sentinels out. A hard fought, long sword after second round here for Wolves.
They committed all they needed to, must win round, and they are able to take that down. Spring just somehow connects a miracle shot on the second player that was swinging through the pit in that final situation. But a good usage of their ultimates, no doubt. YU was crucial on that round too, early. Pretty standard for your Sentinel position. They're going to be taking a timing on B, waiting in main to hear those footsteps on the cross for someone trying to get over to Waterfall towards C. Little jiggle peek, and he wins the duel there. That's just always on your mind when you're a defender and you need to get over to that site.
All right, we have a mild audio issue down here on the stage. So that one will be rectified pretty quickly as headsets are already being replaced. But again, Wolves, they spend pretty big in that round. Like, get those ultimates in play. They make use of them correctly. It's a lockdown that John disrespects. He's playing in halls. He just spams down through that smoke. He's able to find one. But Sentinels are not aware that Sufat's tucked there on bend, right on that spike location. And they just didn't have the utility to dig any of those Wolves players out of position. So very textbook. Hit on towards the C side with that raise. Double satchel initiator. Now, though, without some of those key abilities, can Juicy make use of this showstopper to once again clear that space, maybe force them back into halls on that C side?
Look, I'm certainly looking to Wolves to maybe go for one of the crazy executes here where your Omen uses from the shadows to get behind the defensive team, and then you send it at them with a showstopper. Pinch them from both angles. That is a pretty common ult execute on this map.
Lysor is not above a cheeky little TP to the enemy spawn. Some turret here for YU to play contact off of B. Wolves have been waiting for a push out of B main from Sen, but it's never happened. Not so far on this defense side. They've just been leaving Zek in here, of course, with those paint shells to hold it down.
The only real proactivity coming from Sen is just the double up from Narrate and Bang to take level control. To be fair, it has kept Spring at bay. He hasn't had opportunities to be able to lurk up off of his wall, which feels very un-Spring-like. I mean, on Split, he was taking the fight to them all the time. Here's that showstopper.
He's waiting on those.
But he can't do anything.
On the snakebite, couldn't actually cross. Sheer wall did come up, and that's a speculative showstopper that ends up finding nothing. All the util cleared from the C side, though. It looks like Wolves want to double back, Wyatt.
Yeah, they certainly can re-execute off this.
30 seconds
Sufat
left.
does have a haunt to throw, clear out an area like Bend, teleport through to make the cross. They want to scale into the site, which is vacant of Sen players, but they are ready to flood back in off the Steel Garden.
Juicy Vizak and Duelists here fighting for that Hall's control. Second opts to wait just a little bit longer here. That's still guarded off the back of it. John explodes. Zelsa's now playing from Waterfall. Lysol left here on the seaside, the last remaining Wolves player. And Zelsa's might not be aware. He TP'd out with that ultimate. So now Wolves in a position to play that retake, but Zekin's already got it to half, and Wolves might not be aware of this. Narrate's able to spray them down through the poison orb. Zekin got off of it briefly, but he'll full stick this, and Wolves are none the wiser.
That's just disaster for Wolves. They have to all retreat into Mound after the Steel Garden is used, and the spike just isn't planted for them. The round is just over at that point. Easy, effortless retake for Sentinels.
Spike planted.
That tries to get out.
I mean, what can they do after this situation? Legitimately nothing. It's just over. It is just over for them.
Looked odd, but I think Wolves probably realized there was no reasonable way to get back in, so wagering those remaining rifles seemed less than ideal. Now a bit of a rubble fight. This time Sen actually aren't playing forward. They got banged back in tree.
4 rifles right now for Wolves. Spring just on the pistol though, unfortunately.
Watch the timing of this paranoia, Wyatt. Sees combo with the paint shells, perhaps. Oh, it's Second getting caught out. Naray doesn't have much to see here, and Bang's gonna watch his left side. No! Oh my goodness! Sealfat found a quick double.
That is Sen going for a bit of a haphazard attempt at the refight. Just not expecting, I don't think, so many Wolves players to actually be ready with the crosshairs on those angles. This has been the most convincing round win for Wolves so far, unless John is able to go crazy in that 1v4, but he can't. It's shut down by Spring.
And that was a half buy. Hey, Wolves, I think, had 2 pistols, maybe even classics in that kind of round. And it was one of the rounds where Sen opted not to play forward on Rubble. They didn't have Bang TPing forward at the start of the round and having Narrate watch that live. They opted instead to try and play off a paranoia, and everything kind of went wrong for them in second. Found himself isolated.
Yeah, isolated on that orb, and the rest of the players just tried to spill through the fight together, but Supa hits a nice little snappy adjustment. Too many players from Wolves posted up to deal with. And look at this. Somehow, Sen, their economy is not very good, which feels bizarre, but this is an opportunity for Wolves to get right back in the game, potentially tie things up, break their eco right here.
Bang can't clear the horn with where he is, so he actually at least consider giving up that Rubble position. We're going to be variation, though, this time from Wolves. But some of the Spice Util is here.
Which has been an absolute nightmare for them. Second 2 rounds in a row has been instantly deleted by Juicy.
Wait a minute. Are they going to go back towards C here? Zekin's departed. Obviously very early in the round. Drezshade's being cleaned up. Spring wants to try and get forward here, but this Nightfall could be a bit of an issue for Wolves. Spike is obviously down. Spring trying to play from upper and cleared out instantly. Sealfat now gives his position away. Enough noise to wake the dead, and Narrate's going to turn around with the Odin. Look to try and spray him out of the game, and this is awkward timing for the fade. Wolves here with a great opener. Sen able to convert on a 4v5 after Zekin falls.
Great opener, essentially a free plant. They have the idea, which is the right idea, of when you're getting the spike down on this map, you have to go take more forward space on B, but they just don't do it together. Juicy is too quick to face here. Zelsis gets an isolated 1v1. There's no trade coming through. Spring is trying to get forward, but he's alone, caught before the dark cover drops. Right idea, wrong execution from Wolves, and some frustration on the face of Fade as things are getting a bit out of control on Sentinel's map pick, especially for the defensive side. And when you're talking about these traditional comps, this map was attack favored back when it was in the in the pool, and this was the meta.
And that's why Sen getting to 6 is a huge deal.
My ult is ready.
Orb taken by Sufet now gets his Nightfall online. Once again, Zekin wants to take an early challenge, but looks like that's been denied. Classic entry over here. Zelsis is 39. Does he think to try and play a one and done in the corner now at this level of health?
Face your fear!
Okay, Boom Bomb going to be thrown in. Dark cover there. Overall to Paranoia, excuse me. Forces John back in the Hall's direction. Juicy deals the Zelsis all too easily. There's a nice little tap from John. Happy to challenge this side take util for a kill.
Yeah, now just fully on the retreat. Posted up to try and ensure the Wolves don't push any further. Lysor, danger for a moment, and it's just getting spammed through by Bang. Disaster As Wolves try to wrap around Ben to get that spike down.
Spring's able to recover the spike, but what opportunity, they're going to have to plant it. He tries to surge ahead, draws Second out of position, might be a high-low swing, but Second tucks. He's not going to give them a free kill here. Wolves are the ones that have to wager something. And Spring, and he's got some work to do.
Oh, it's disrespectful from Zekin. It's a little bit whimsical too with the double satchel in. Gets himself one orb away from a showstopper with those kills too, matter of fact. It's just those tracers from Lysor with the Vandal that are spotted out.
And at this point, Zekin just doesn't give them a freebie. Until this point, breaks that crosshair placement. Spring overwhelmed. And that is 7 defense side rounds for Sentinels. There's no way of framing this other than they're at a massive, massive advantage on this map.
As I can go in and pick up that Outlaw for another round in this map on an anti-eco.
Look at Spring. Talk that Odin damage off the rip, and Zekin's able to find an Outlaw pick with finally decided to push up on B, by the way.
Well, that's gotten him his showstopper. Just in case Sen wanted another advantage to close out this half.
Oh, man. Spring's at 6, by the way. Far too much spam for Wolves to deal with. Sen holding all the cards. A double swing here. They'll try it, but bang! Almost had the correction. Spring at 6, wants a rifle. He'll have it stripped from his hands momentarily. It's an interesting snake by lineup. Yeah, just the delayed drop. I like that. 8 rounds for Sentinels, last of the half. Showstopper earned by Zekin. It's looking grim for Wolves fans.
Gotta say, the just existence of the Vice utility on this map has really thrown a wrench in the game plans from Wolves. And it's, I think, highlighted some of the issues that they've had as a team, where it's disconnected them on executes to too great of an extent on multiple site attempt.
Are they shooting back?
All right, Wolves, last chance to get a desperately needed round win on what is typically the favored side on this map.
And this is that more passive A-side variation for Sentinels on defense. Nobody heading up to rubble.
And Zekin has actually picked up the operator towards C. I'm going to assume there's probably a rifle on the ground for him as well to pick up, and he has the showstopper to play with. So he's got 3, actually 4 weapons if he needs to use all of them.
He's Gilgamesh. And that's why he's down at 1,600. Of course you spend up here. And with that Vice util that you referenced earlier is definitely going to be an issue at C. Popped here early. So you saw the nanoswarm used by YU. Try and draw it out. Oh man, that is a long shot. He even tanks the Prowler in order to take it. Zekin might likely give up some rooms. Juicy has his own showstopper, so he clears the room at B. This is Wolves tipping their hand.
This will get enough space for Lysor to get the plant down right now safely. Spring on this lurk through A. Narrate is ready. He has eyes on the smoke. Can Spring actually catch a timing right now? He hears them running away. It's going to be time for him to hit the go button.
Juicy will buy more time now. He's gonna force Sentinels back a little longer. Okay, Juicy tapped down a little bit. Oh, 56! Between his legs, apparently! And as Spring tries to get active and up, and Lysor down to 1. Just Lysor left! And it's a disastrous attack side on Lotus for Wolves. Not nearly enough rounds earned here to give them any sense of confidence. They were dictating the pace of the game on Split. This time, though, they were taking orders from Sentinels.
I just don't have that explosivity right now on Lotus that they had when we were back on Split. Sentinels looking elite right now on their own pick.
Zekin tanks that Prowler, knows he has the shot. Juicy clears B with a showstopper, but can't do much else with it.
Narrate, once he got that Odin online, he was so oppressive. Zekin even getting the kill with the AWP there, was taking advantage of the Outlaw on the proper rounds. Sen really doing everything right. Wolves with no answers, couldn't deal with the Vice.
Classic comp, classic performance from Sentinels. Can Wolves get back in the game after the break?
Hey everyone, make some noise, because we got Alexis over here in the house! Alexis, what are you up to here, you know? How you been?
I've been really good. We've been doing duo workshops for the Valorant University, and now I'm just here watching the games.
Are you enjoying the venue and the vibes? I mean, I saw a lot of fans walking up to you asking you for selfies.
I love the vibes. The venue's insane. I love Artist Alley where I can buy little trinkets. I've bought so many little trinkets.
All right, I gotta ask you about the game though. Are you supporting anyone? You know, rooting for anyone?
I gotta root for Sen, right? Gotta.
Right, you're Sen City. I want to ask you about the meta though, because you play a lot of Breach, right? So what do you think of the current meta with the Breach? I mean Tail nerf, the little bit of a Breach nerf as well, and how the teams are playing.
I think the Teo nerf was definitely needed, for sure. Very overtuned agent. I will say I feel like the Breach nerf was not super necessary, but maybe I'm biased as a Breach player. That stun, that 2 seconds on the stun really hurts my soul a little bit.
Right, but I need you to do me a favor and hype up the crowd for the second half. So, ready? We're gonna say let's go. Okay, second half.
Let's go, guys!
Let's go!
It's all happening here at the NKS Centre in Toronto. Sen City have landed, and after a rocky start in the series, they look like they've stabilized. Time for your Coinbase Econ report here. Remember, this is a factor of the damage you've done divided by the credits you spent. So really about how much impact on the game you can have per credit.
Second bang up there, certainly, and that's even with Zekin buying Outlaws, dropping them, buying an AWP, still able to get so much value out of everything he was spending that cash on throughout the game, which is obviously also reflected in the score. Sen on the less favored side for Lotus, especially when we're looking at the comps we have of the old meta, which is back as the new meta. 9-3 is just so tough for Wolves to come back on. The attack side was the favored one back on Split. Let's see if they have it in them here. Spring, he's been hitting. But the rest of the guys, they need to come to life.
Make him dance.
All right, folks, we are moments away from jumping into the second half of Lotus. And like Quiet said, the challenge has been issued, a 3-round attack side for Wolves. So the pistol is where it begins for them, a huge comeback. Not unlike the one Sen had to undertake on Split.
Juicy had a tough time on attack. Unfortunately, was just sent in and isolated by so much of that utility. Was in unwinnable situations. Maybe here on defense is where he can turn it around. He was a star for the team on map 1.
Tentatively, Sen are starting to encroach here. Pass box, they've checked that. Baby Door, of course, untouched. In tree, Lysor is going to be waiting. Wolves may be looking for an opportunity to explode out from here, but they're going to have to make some noise. Getting rid of the door. Tree control taken, but now Sen looking at the Baby Door. Zufet's having to stop them. What a bouncer! You shout on pass, he says. Still wants to over-push into the spike location. The Rays having to get a second, but it's on Zels's. Sheriff in hand. And a heck of a job to do.
Well done from Wolves, just swinging out together there.
30 seconds left.
All of the Sentinel players just kind of clumped up, playing by the orb, trying to get towards Baby Door. The exact start that Wolves needed, unless Zelsis with this Sheriff can go off, but that's just not going to happen. He doesn't have the time. There's simply no way. Wolves getting back into the game here on defense. Let's see if they can try to go on a similar run.
With the grenade out there, Zelsis hoping for a little bit to be offered up. That's not to be. The swing there from Baby Door for Wolves. Gets them onto the board here in this second half. A drought of rounds. Sen was stitching together 4 at the end of that first half. This play here, nice little double up. Spring pushes out to try and take more. Is punished for it, but the damage is already done.
And then you just have Juicy on the cross from sight. Just a beautiful setup. Simple, highly effective from Wolves. And they're going to fully invest up into this anti-eco round where Zekin is going to do the Juicy cosplay from the first half and go for the Bucky double satchel.
Yeah, perhaps to upper. Maybe with a dark cover to get him in there.
I'm getting deja vu.
Prowler comes out, there's also a wall there. Now over towards the mound side of things for Sentinels. Zekin still has his satchels, blast packs is caught midway through. It's the Marshal of all things that catches him.
John does actually recover that Bucky. Maybe he can have a better fare with it. Why are you holding the cross? Here come the swings from Wolves.
Not a lot to write home about in this round. Solid stuff from Wolves. YU just waited off the now, and Sean says, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, they say. What do I have here?
Well, he gets his. Unfortunately, that is just the Marshall down, but they'll take what they can get with the Bucky investment, which does end up being a little bit awkward into this. Zekken is just going to have to buy up into a Stinger. Well, we've got 2 back-to-back rounds, I will say, for Wolves on defense, where the fundamentals are just looking good. Just playing, swinging out of these smokes together. Taking the fight to Sen as a unit.
Yeah, good defensive util over at B that sort of diverts Sentinels to the C extremity. And now the pleasantries have been exchanged. They mostly buy here for Sen. There's a C's attempt over towards Rubble, but nobody for Sentinels is in attendance. They're pretty quickly heading to C, but there's definitely some util that needs to be cleared out.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, so important to just try to get your orbs over to your raise if you can. Get as many showstoppers as possible when you're on this attack side. Sen want to get into this C site perhaps. There are 3 players ready to go, but the other 2 a bit too far away. Orb will actually go to narrate on account of him being the closest to the ultimate at the moment.
So here's where great teams on Lotus attack side can succeed. They've got nothing really out of these early exchanges except some defensive util.
And now look at the difference here for how Wolves are approaching these A re-clears. They do have narrate involved here. They can throw out some of this initiated utility if they want, but at the moment it's just going to be a snake bite for back. Rubble slowly making their way out together as the clock is ticking down to 35 seconds.
Lysol spotted, tagged up on the shoulder peak. Backing away into Baby Door is Juicy. Zelsus now takes this opportunity to get some B control. They can pinch on the wall, the raise, but Juicy sees an opportunity to come forward with that retake wall thrown up. Now Sen bouncing over towards B, but Juicy's going to be waiting for them. That paint shell doesn't do too much to dissuade him. Paranoia, though, could be a problem for the Rays. Juicy on the corner. Can't really see. Haphazard shooting. Effective enough, though, for Sentinels.
Nere was just so patient on that lurk. Bides his time, gets the free kill spring. Jump up from Zeki, gets out of the way to Satchel to win the duel. That 1-for-1.
Wayne's only got a sheriff to work with. Silfat has to be careful on this angle. Just a Guardian to play with. Bang re-smokes up and forces YU to just push out into the great unknown. Sentinels are waiting for it with open arms. Converting that first rifle round here on this attack side.
Nice fast trades from Zelsus to clear things out. Juicy was dangerous for a moment in Baby Door when he finds the perfect timing window to swing out, get the opening pick towards Rubble. But eventually from that position, you can just feel the walls closing in on him. You're just too susceptible to any utility coming through.
Sorry. I got you though. I like that. I like that from you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now heading into what will be the first full buy round for Wolves. Coach Fade going to call that second timeout in the game. Crucial. Down 10-5. Must win. This is the game on the line, not just the round. This will be Sen getting to match points.
Thought that was an attack side round from Sen that showcased some pretty good macro fundamentals for Lotus. Getting up on that C side, getting the orb, forcing out some of that killjoy util. Bounce over to A. See what you can tease out there. Start to pressure the player in Baby Door and eventually execute B pretty cleanly, all things considered. Wolves gave them a lot of map to play with, to be fair. Maybe that's the call. Maybe it's about being a little bit more proactive on one or both extremities here. Looking to take maybe an early Rubble fight. They've got a full buy here. Our team from China.
Listen, so far, you still have to give them a lot of credit. They have defied expectations coming into this. Going up against a hungry Sentinels who are trying to bounce back from a disappointing showing at Bangkok this year. Going out, losing 13-1 to Liquid. They want to start off strong with a clean 2-0 against a Wolves team that are just trying to make themselves known on the international stage for the first time. We didn't even think they'd be here.
And once again, this early action, one out by Spring now.
Always happy to just take a 1 versus 1 in Spring.
For all appearances, Sen are highly committed to this siege, and yet that smoke towards Waterfall says they're coming again! YU has the stopping power. Just punishes Zekken mid-flight. All of a sudden, the options are limited for Sen.
That is just some spray through after the door gets activated. Knows where to put the crosshair. Juicy.
Okay.
Quick on the shot. That should be curtains on the round.
That's a devastating round coming out of Wolves here. At C control, why are you basically locking it down himself? Look at the locations of Sen's deaths here. Failed B attempt. Why are you catching the crossing Zekin? A flawless round here for Wolves.
Money's going to be pretty bad for Sen as well. Could be worth 2 here for Wolves. But that's just Spring so ready for, again, it's just that common Sentinel work position where you try to take a little timing peek. Spring too fast. Juicy too fast on that swing as well. They just shoot well in that round, but credit for isolating Zekin on that attempt to satchel in. Now we've got Kaplan going to call the timeout here. Because Wolves are trying to make a little go at it.
Yeah, I mean, so far.
Second half, not too bad for them.
Sen able to convert their first gun round, take 3 rifles out of it. After that sort of buy of the Bucky and the anti-eco, Zekin had to make do with a Stinger. It worked out. I don't blame them here, though, sort of. That last round, far less elaborate in terms of how they worked the map. They lost the player very early in B main and ended up just having all of their eggs in that seaside basket. They got flattened by YU. Zekin's got headshots straight out of midair, so perhaps a call from Kaplan, hey, let's slow it down. Let's maybe make use of this map, work it a little bit more. Make use of that wiper wall we're using on A.
Yeah, going to have to ensure that they're able to draw out a fair amount of that utility before they're actually getting in for the executes. There's sort of a light commitment too. Like, you can't have Bing try to teleport across in a situation like that.
They did that in round 15. They drew out a lot of util early before ending B. So the concept of a plan is there for Sentinels. See how they put it together now. Round number 17, folks. You're still with us, Toronto? That's what I thought.
All right. Sentinels on the eco round here. Just a stinger for Bang and a full effort to try and get out towards Rubble. Viper utility up to make the cross. Lysor again here defending. It's been a tough going for him on the map so far. Wolves would love for him to begin to heat up. Maybe he can get some confidence kills on the anti-eco just to get things rolling.
But they're wasting no time in getting this tree set up. And in fairness, Wolves don't have anything set up to stop them. They're going to be allowed into the A site. Pretty ideal start to the round for Sentinels. Now it's a matter of landing the plane as Wolves give the side up for the retake.
Trying to get this really forward position. Cheeky little angle to play around this dark cover that's thrown down.
A nice little paint shell buys a lot more space. Oh, okay. Zekin, he disrespects the snake bite. Brings Abba to deal with him. Little high-low set up now from the defenders as they try and get back in here. Nightfall thrown up by Sen. A big ping though off that horn apparently. Suvet's able to reveal much of the defenders, and now Lysor wants to step up, have a crack at it too. It's only down to YU. These Elses. YU so little to work with in terms of teammates. Tyra could be deployed, but in a 1 versus 1, he's got a face. Zelsus down. And it's going to be his rifle burst, the classic. All things considered, pretty solid round for Sentinels, but Wolves rack up another.
A lot of damage done. I do like how Sentinels were able to play that. Getting proactive, fighting towards heaven. They back off, absorb a little utility, try to repost, keep fighting. They were not slowing down with their effort to apply pressure to Wolves. Results in a lot of damage done. Now here comes the very crucial buy round for them. They're going up against the Wolves that have multiple high-impact ultimates to play with here.
Lids definitely kept on their economy to some degree by Sentinels. You're right, we got lockdown. Viper's Pit to play with. Showstopper for Juicy. Bang with a TP across to Rubble now. Sen again thinking about A early.
Wolves really no desire to go for these hard fights towards A. They've been giving it up, letting Lysor just spot for the information late. Sen, they're slowing things down. They're cutting noise completely, pressing up towards this site. And Lysor could be in some serious danger.
Turned anti-flash. That door being toggled is more than enough to tempt him off of A.
Gets away at just the perfect time. This site is totally open, totally free. That being said, though, Wolves just have fantastic ultimates to play for a retake. Bang! Trying to get that kill. Lysor, he's going to want to play patiently.
Of course, the temptation's going to be here for Sentinels to push off this site wire, but it's a dangerous proposition. The lockdown could be an issue.
He gets that Steel Garden activated here, by the way. This is going to connect onto everyone if he rips it right now.
Finds the timing for it. Why are you trying to step out of it?
I think they mostly got out of the way there, actually. Their time is dwindling, though. They're going to have to recommit quickly. Great opener from Spring.
Delta's down. There's going to be a push coming from stairs at the moment from Wolves as well, but John tucked in the corner.
Oh,
One
John,
and two.
cutie.
And here comes Juicy. Showstopper at the ready, but he can't get in. Finally, makes it onto the side. Narrate's going to be dealt with, but Waiyu is out of the game. 3 up for Sen. Bang.
Wow.
TP cancel.
They'll have to get off the site, but the spike is still planted for them, and there's just not enough time for Lysor. He's forced to retreat. Great positional adjustments from Sentinels at the end there. Had the spike planted for them. Steel Garden, sure, doesn't get the connections, but it just ends up wasting so much time. And that means Wolves waste the showstopper, waste the lockdown, all for naught. Sen on 11, creeping closer to the map win.
Juicy looked like he got seized as he was trying to come in with that showstopper, but still converted it for a kill. But just the spacing, like you mentioned, that Steel Garden forced. Then the Wolves lost another 5 seconds of time to make that retake happen. And timing's been a bit of an issue for them over the series at really important moments.
Sen bursting out into rubble with some haste. They've been getting this space on the map for free, and they haven't been getting re-cleared. So they're hoping that's just going to be the case right now, and they can pivot elsewhere.
The push-up, though, towards Mound by Juicy means that he knows this is a bit of a fake. Now Sen are going to drift back in that direction. B main held 3 players at B for Wolves in general, so Sen make a good call here, heading to a pretty lightly held seaside.
Second gets the showstopper with a collection of that orb. Is he going to try to send it in? It's Bang teleport on the cross to break the crosshairs.
Awkward for Johnny, tries to crouch, but Juicy's waiting there, finds his second. Zelsa steps up, only for 1, it's 3 for Wolves' raise. Now the momentum out of Sen's court. Second can still go for this, though.
Oh, that would just be so high risk. Certainly doesn't want to waste it. That being said, though, this is a pivotal round. Maybe if they can get a kill first, bring it into a 2v3, then you can use it. But in a 2 versus 4, you're just not going to want to waste it. But look at the Sen economy.
30 seconds left.
Wolves have been able to keep a lid on it. They've kept them in that danger zone. And with just 20 seconds left, they're going to opt to save these 2 rifles, bring them into the next.
Narrate. Pretty big series for him. I mean, Zekken came on your show and sort of said he had full belief in Narrate to turn up when it mattered. That he just needed that one breakout game to really show what he's capable of. There's a sense that he's still got more to show on this team.
He's been having a quality series here. Yeah, I really don't think he's even reached his peak with Sentinels yet. To me, he does have more to show. He can even kick things into a higher gear.
And that's a Wolves round picked up. Sen do not want to take the gambit with 2 guns left. Great little 3-piece for Juicy here on scene.
This is another situation where you're seeing what Wolves are driving with. That is flooding back in, it's good fundamentals, swinging together, taking the fights together, and they're finding the kills in the Sentinels' transitional moments where they're trying to still scale deeper, get into the site.
Their fears.
All right, Sen, because of those 2 safe guns, they are going to be able to get a near full buy. Celsius does have the Stinger.
Okay, they got Juicy at 8 this time. Looks like Wolves are ready for a bit more of a rubble fight.
Wow, this is Narrate trying to draw a lot of attention. Baits out the Nightfall while the rest of Sentinels will be able to get into this B site unless Spring tries to slow them down.
Too slow in a baby door here for Wolves. Spring's able to find 1 anchored in on the side. Sentinels forced away by that Viper util.
It's just that Molly on the ground that once again isolates Zekken in the site and evens things up. Even this pivot to C slowed down on account of another Molly. But Wolves won't fully be in position to get in just yet. Hoping to spam through. Bang getting on low HP, but the Viper's Pit will just further obscure the view from Waterfall.
Bike passed along to Celsius by the looks. Now a bit of a numbs cut even from Sentinels, but you have to imagine they're staying here because of the Viper's Pit. Celsius here with an Arc Rose to set up, and this is going to be a tough retake for Wolves at the best of times. They can't even counter pit this, Wyatt.
Spike planted.
Spike is going to be planted, getting through this pit. a nightmare. But at the very least, when Sufat does make his way
Game
over,
apa?
look at the
Ini
concern
namanya
around the
game
Wolves
warframe.
towards B. They're doubling up for
Game
that.
free to play.
And it's just wasting time. Juicy can't win a crucial duel.
Gak harus
And he can't double up
ngeluarin
with
duit.
anyone from Waterfall because of that pit. He's solo in that position.
Recommended,
Round is
recommended.
slipping away. Prowler needs to
Nah, kalau yang
use
di
to
bawah kiri
spot
itu
someone out,
Valorant.
hoping to
Ada.
get some spam through the pit.
Oh, one by one, White, they set up and they're fed to the wood chipper. I think at this point, Superfat realizes there's no point forcing the issue any further. Lysol caught out, both guns stripped away from Wolves. With an economy still to be able to buy, that is a devastating round to drop to Sen.
One round away, Sentinels from taking their first match here after struggling at Bangkok, going 0 for 2, sent home early.
Itu benar.
You could feel the frustration from them, the way they were speaking about that tournament. Second, speaking about their failures to adapt as a team, to play together in the way that they needed to, and they've bounced back.
Marshall has decided to win the round.
For this final round 2, they're going to have significant ultimates to close things out. Wolves have got their full buy. And they stay in the game. Nightfall ripped immediately onto Lysor. So much pressure towards his way.
Decken wants to get up here with this showstopper. That's a deep
Wow.
rocket.
Oh my God, he went for the snipe with that.
No catch though, Sealfat respects it. Things slow down a little bit though, Sen have not left rubble. But they can still pull out. We've seen this before, bouncing over to another side after some early action here.
Well, Wolves will be more than happy that both ults are gone within the first 20 seconds and did not do a damn thing for Sen. They don't even really have much control of rubble. Juicy is pushed up towards box, has Spring on stairs ready to swing off him. John is just trying to keep them distracted, keep them on this site.
That's an extra 5 to 8 seconds in which Wolves do think something's happening at A, even if John doesn't have any follow-up. That means it will be YU again that has to anchor this C side alone.
At this point, though, they're not believing it. Spring is getting over to the C site right now and will be able to help YU on account of the delay from the mollies.
Viper's Pit now drawn out in the C side. It's going to be a tough ask to expect Sen to go there, so we're bouncing back. Time is getting short. 30 seconds left in the round, and the Vanguard appears to be Zelsis at B. Is A back on the menu?
Yeah, it looks like it. This is a very late pivot. They want to actually go into a B split. Threaten an A hit second. Opens
it's
up.
Working. They're going away for the B side, and they got the drop on
Ew,
Juicy.
timing
The one
again.
pick at A draws the defenders off the B side, and now it's pandemonium from Wolves trying to get back in. Lysor with a double. Decken and bang full well away side. Now Zelsis out of the game. John clutching for the series. Spring and Lysor doubled up. Spray through smoke is wild. It's wayward, and Spring gets it to half. Now off of it. Looking to team up with Lysor here, and John has very little to look
Wah,
at.
dapet tuh. Oh, gelo.
The mastermind plants the flag for Americas here in Toronto. Clutching up the game as Sentinels walk away with the 2-0.
What a final round from Sen's IGL. John, beautiful calling into that pivot towards B, catches out Juicy, and then clutches it out in the 1 versus 2. Sen starts strong, but man, did Wolves come out swinging. No one expected this game to be that close back on split. They kept trying to get in the mix on Lotus. It felt like they were always so close to maybe manifesting a comeback, but Sen were just too strong on their own map pick. Kaplan said in that halftime coach interview that it was tough to play against Wolves. They're playing a different style. We're playing against a different region, and our game plan, it's hard to get online. Put on Lotus, work to perfection, dominant defensive half. Sen are looking strong to kick off this tournament.
And in a return back to an old meta, a new meta, whatever you want to call it, it looks like Sentinels still have all the tools they need to put a compelling performance forward on these maps. Ridiculous comeback in that first map, great series. We're now going to head over to Jen Lee down on the stage for our Verizon post-match interview with Bang.
Congratulations, Sentinels! Right. Looking sharp, everyone. Bang, I'm gonna need you over here for an interview. Please. Thank you. 2-0, W on the board. That's gotta feel nice, right?
Yeah, it does. Feels really good. I'm really glad we were able to close it out. It was a little shaky, but it's all right.
Can we please talk about how close today was, especially on split? What was going through your mind?
I kind of felt we weren't really ready for what they were doing to us on split. It was kind of a new thing, and it kind of caught us off guard on our defense. So we just had to adapt. And I mean, we still got 4. I feel like we did pretty good, even regarding that. But on attack is when we really started like playing like ourselves, I feel like.
Speaking of having to adapt, right? Let's talk about the Taeho nerf. Because you guys played Taeho on basically every map back in stage 1. So how do you think that nerf has affected you guys?
I don't really think it's affected us as much as people think, to be honest. I feel like people are overrating how good we are, or underrating how good we are, and I don't think it has anything to do with how good Taeho was.
Alright, lastly, you guys are 1-0 now. Who would you like to face next? You have Paper X, Bilibili, and the winner of the upcoming Gen G versus MIBR matchup.
I would probably, out of all those teams, like to play Paper X the most. They're definitely the most fun team to play against, I feel like.
You wanna have fun?
Yeah.
Go 2-0.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you very much, Bang. Congratulations once again. Give it up one more time for Sentinel!
An update is required. Financial system updating.
Keren banget skinnya.
System updated.
We will dance together.
The future of money is here. Feels good.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Berapa lama itu?
welcome back to day 2 of Masters Toronto, and we are closing out this Sunday with a gigafied banger. It is Gen G versus MIBR. I'm your host, Yingsu. I'm here once again with Ender and Mel. That first match was incredible, but this one I have a feeling, Ender, it's not going to be a 2-0.
No, this one could go the distance. I mean, this is a hype matchup, right? You've got Gen G, kind of stalwarts in the Korean Valorant scene, up against MIBR with the return of Aspas to a global stage. Sign me up.
There's so many different things that would make this match so exciting. I mean, I know me personally, seeing Verno on the international stage is something that I'm looking so much forward to.
And I've loved seeing how the fans have just soaked up all the atmosphere here. I love seeing all your happy faces as well. But if you're not here at Masters, it's never too early to start making plans for champs. And this year, we are heading to Paris. Make sure you scan the QR code to register for a shot at scoring tickets to the year's biggest event. If you miss out on the Mastercard pre-sale on July 9th, this will be your only other way to get access when they go on sale on the 10th. Registration is open until 25th even, so do not miss out. Of course, my favorite event of the year, I can't wait for it to be in EMEA. No bias there whatsoever, no bias.
I'm in. I made it
Did you
in.
actually scan it?
I got the QR code. I did it.
Nice. Yes, let's go. Let's
See you guys
go.
there.
Okay, I'll see you there. I like the confidence of you being able to get your tickets. I love that. I love that. But let's talk about the matchup at hand, because both of these teams, they could well be heading to champs. You know, it depends on how they do here at stage 2, of course. And start with Gen G. Probably one of the biggest upset Mel was not seeing them in Bangkok. I think a lot of people expected them to carry on the way their year was last year.
It was a big shocker, and for me, I've watched countless Gen G VODs, and to me, they're just such a staple now at international events, especially after their win. So when that happened, I was a little sad. I'll be biased here. I was quite sad. I love Gen G. I love the Korean teams in general at APAC, but seeing them here just fills me with so much joy.
Yeah, I mean, watching Gen G play, they are such a solid team. Like, it feels like they just understand the fundamentals of Valorant at almost a perfect level. They've got incredible shooters on their team. They don't necessarily reinvent the wheel all the time, but they play best comps on most maps. They play very solidly, very strongly together.
They are, and I think they're probably going to be back with a vengeance, right? Considering they had to watch T1 lift a trophy earlier this year, and the Pacific region in general, Ender, has been probably one of the best we've seen on the global stage.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacific has been coming on fire in the last few years, and Gen G themselves have been looking so good. I mean, look, this squad, I get some fear in my soul a little bit, sending, you know, America, sending EMEA teams up against Gen G, because individually they are such a stacked roster. And again, you can't make mistakes versus this team because they don't leave you many gaps to punish.
Yeah, there is no mistakes. There is no room to make these mistakes strategically or tactically or mechanically. You have Munchkin out calling you, and if they do have like a macro mistake, there's the smallest window of opportunity to take advantage in the micro, and even then, the star power of these players is enough to push them over the edge.
Yeah, let's not forget back at Masters Shanghai, when they did manage to win that tournament, they did it through the Swiss as well. They're familiar with this stage of the tournament. They know exactly what to do to get out of this stage safely, and that man on your screen, we have missed him so much. So let's check in with Texture and see what he had to say to Gen Lee ahead of his Toronto debut.
Hey, what's up everyone? Gen Lee here with Texture. Now Texture, you're facing MIBR today. Aspas on the other side. What do you think you need to watch out for?
Not much.
Not much? Okay.
Not much, except for, you know, maybe Aspas's aim, movement, mechanics, his just pew-pewing,
his unmistakable aura.
Yeah. Have I missed out anything else?
No, I just love that texture. Like, I feel like we get to see a bit of his stream personality just then. I feel like normally in these interviews, he's like kind of serious, but if you ever watch a texture stream, it is hilarious. I watch clips all the time translated, and I feel like people don't really see much of just the hilarity that he brings to a team.
You know, my favorite question that I've ever asked was, you know, who do you want to play up against at these global events? And some of the EMEA players said, we don't mind as long as our prac room is not on the same floor as Gen G's, because
oh my God,
we just hear Texture screaming from the crack of dawn to the middle of the night. But you have to love him for it as well, and also love his how he's evolved. Because Christy, the last time when we saw him on the global stage, he was not playing the Yoru at all. Didn't want anything to do with it.
No, but nowadays it feels like if you're going to be in the duelist slot, you have to have a sick Yoru, or your team is just going to fall behind the meta. So has definitely helped his team out a bunch. And I think today, the challenge first game here back on the global stage up against Osbos on the other side, like this is trial by fire immediately.
We have seen this matchup before, actually, and I can't remember what Texture said about it last time. Maybe he knows now, he's played against him before, he's not going to be scared. But let's take a look, actually. I think we have some footage of the last time Texture and Aspas faced each other. Oh my goodness, that jersey. I'm getting a bit of a throwback here.
The old jersey. Texture never a quiet man up on the stage either.
Snapping away, isn't he? But that's the kind of attitude, Mel. I could help him here. You don't want to be scared of Aspas. You don't want to be looking over your monitor and let him get in your brain.
Absolutely, and I think it's one thing to think individually who can diff who, but I think something that I read was, or what I saw online was them talking about how, I think it might have actually been in the media for today, was, my teammates are either equal or we will just take him over as a team. That's how we're going to beat him. They don't seem extremely individual focused, and I think that's a big shout here too, but let it be known that Texture statistically has been performing well, and I could definitely see this being a gigabanger between the two.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's so interesting to me how, like, skilled these players are, but how different they are in terms of personalities. Because, like, Osbos up there is completely stoic, and as one of the more veteran players on this team of rookies, he's actually the more level head, keeping his team calm, even though he's still going to be fragging out in server.
Yeah, and for the casual viewers, you know, maybe you thought, oh, Loud, Aspas, Leviathan as well, and now coming back with MIBR, Ender, is it really as simple as Aspas and Squad?
Yeah, no. I would say it is as simple as if Osbos joins your team, you're going to globals, because you think about MIBR, this is an 11th place team last year. I mean, MIBR has never done much in VCT Americas, but all of a sudden, you put Osbos onto this roster, you sign a couple of cracked out rookies prospects from Brazil in Shenum and Cortesia, and this team is on top of the world.
I feel like you cannot give enough love to the rookies, especially on this roster. While Osbos, a dominating player for years and years, absolutely in the GOAT debate, if not the GOAT, his rookies, the rookies on this team, are activated so well by Artzine and Fraud's system, and I think they are a crucial part of how they were even able to make it this far. I mean, the shots they were hitting, the highlight reels I was seeing out of Americas from Xenom and Cortesia, and I mean, I'm not even mentioning Verno. Verno, especially in the mid-rounding, the vocality, has been incredible to watch.
Yeah, I think it's been really important too, because stage one, Osbos still topping the charts in most categories, but he wasn't as dominant as he's been in previous years. You saw those players that you're mentioning, the younger talent, stepping up in a big way.
Yeah, and you say like statistically maybe not as dominant, but as you're saying, it's not a strike towards Osbos and his performance. It's more so that his teammates have really taken up the mantle in that regard and stepping up in his stead.
Yeah, and 4 of them have never been to a global event before, which is so exciting to think about too. And qualifying this event alone was a massive deal for the org, for the young players, for everyone that's on that stage right now. Here's what it meant to them and their families.
Cortez, a gente sabe que a sua família tá aqui, né, cara? Então, a gente vai tentar, consegue colocar pra gente, produção, olha a sua família aparecendo, tá aqui do ladinho. Então, se você quiser mandar um recado pra sua família e também pro pessoal do Brasil, aproveita aí agora, cara.
Cara, eu queria agradecer novamente primeiro Deus, porque sem ele não sou nada. Obrigado minha família que sempre me apoiou, e isso é por vocês também, por todo mundo que sempre me ajudou, mano. Já pensei tantas vezes em desistir e tanta gente me ajudou, então é só o primeiro passo. A gente ainda quer ganhar o VCT Américas, não é só a classificação que a gente quer, e a gente vai por isso. Muito obrigado, a gente ama vocês.
Pouca pessoa sabe do que eu venho passando esse ano, em questão do meu pessoal, em questão da minha família. Então, com certeza essa vitória foi pra você, pai e mãe. Foi pra você.
Cara. Filho, e aquilo que nós combinamos lá atrás quando começou, primeiro o melhor da rua, depois melhor do bairro, depois melhor da cidade, melhor do estado, melhor do país e melhor do mundo!
You know, know, it is just such a beautiful and heartfelt moment watching them with their families on the stage, and I just can't help but feel like, even for Artson, how much of a moment that is as well, because he's a guy that stuck around when times were terrible for MIBR, when they were down towards the bottom of the standings, and now he gets to be sent off by his father to come and try to win a title on the global stage. It is just incredible.
Yeah, and let's not forget, some of the fans, they were not kind to him. He took a lot of the blame and the brunt of the issues that were happening, and Mel, very similar to some of the stories we talked about in the first match, you can't help but want to root for them. You want to see them do well on this stage.
It's hard to root against him. I feel like I'm a little emotional even just watching that snippet. It's just seeing someone who has worked so hard for something and finally seeing some fruit bear, finally making the international stage despite everything against them. It is so great to see, and especially with a revitalized roster and just how they're playing as well has been really impressive. The way they made it here is something that is not, that you can't really say for a lot of teams in the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep the emotions high as well because Fraud is also back. You know, we always love to see Fraud. We saw him in the hotel lobby yesterday. He was chatting a little bit to us, but of course, once upon a time, one of the best on the global stage, and overdue. You know, it's a bit overdue. It's nice to see him back.
What I think is amazing, sort of Fraud's journey from like the old Loud to now with MIBR's back with Loud, like that was like an obvious star-studded roster, right? That he's able to take and help climb to the top. And now he is able to play the system, yes, with Ospas, yes, with Artson, but also breaking in 3 very young, incredibly talented players. And I think MIBR is one of the most drilled teams you're going to see in Americas. I think that they play a very calm, sort of almost a slower paced at times macro style around Ospas's play, but honestly, one of the best defensive-sided teams for my money.
I feel like you really can't count how many things were really against these rookies on the rise too. Think about it, bringing in Verno as well, the Fraud's decision to bring in Verno, this team was speaking Portuguese before he came in. So not only is that just a huge difference in language, but also like the systems and bringing in Verno. I think it truly is a testament to Fraud and Artsy and Verno's microing in game as well, that these rookies are able to thrive.
I don't know how you guys felt about this in Americas, you know, and the fans as well, but watching from across the ocean, if you told me that Verno will be qualifying for an event in Canada with MIBR and not NRG, I would have not believed you at all. That is crazy.
I mean, the crazy thing is that there's a world where Verno wasn't even playing in stage 1, right? After, you know, getting taken off of NRG, he's sitting around like, am I going to get a phone call? Is that going to happen? MIBR choose to pick him up, and what has happened to this team since him joining it has just been incredible. The rise to a top 3 finish for the first time in MIBR's history, that's insane.
It's riveting to watch, and I mean, let's be honest here, there was so much talk about Verno with the whole NRG situation. It was a risk, let's say it how it is, right? Everyone was thinking, how is his songs gonna look after this? And Fraud took that risk, picked him up, and they have risen to the global stage. And all this while he is a rookie. It cannot be understated. And I think a big part of their win condition as well is if you watch MIBR's comms videos, he is such a vocal player, and he is constantly ahead of the game. His game IQ is top-notch, some of the best among this tournament.
And I love his bromance with Aspas as well, because the vibes really do matter. Having good vibes, you know, being able to just slot in onto a team. We have that pairing in EMEA. For me, it feels like this is the America's, you know, equivalent.
Honestly, no, and I think that the way that the team has sort of embraced Verno, bringing him in, has been so great. Again, Ospas being like this emotional rock for the team, building up that camaraderie next to Verno has definitely shown in how they're playing in the server.
Yeah, let's check in with Verno's bestie. It's Aspas, who spoke with Jen earlier.
Hello everyone, Jen Lee here with Aspas. Now Aspas, you have 3 rookies on your team. Any advice for them?
I just want everyone to feel relaxed and play the best that they can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you. Oh? Oh?
Don't ever complain that we don't give you what you want, you know? Ever again, ever again. Me and who though? Me and who? You and I? Yeah, sorry, Chris. Sorry, Roy. I know Roy is here. My bad.
Somewhere.
My bad, Roy. If you want to make us
Roy, we can hold hands.
Yeah, you want to run down there? We'll get you and Roy together. But that is the kind of, you know, chemistry we want to see.
And it's honestly, again, it's just, it feels like I'm beating a dead horse here, but just the fact that it's just the most random, unlikely duo.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, we thought Energy might have had a chance here, and it's MIBR, Ospas, and Verno just bromancing it up.
Holding hands, yeah.
Insane.
This team is the real deal. I know you've watched them play, but I think this team could make some serious run here in Toronto.
You reckon the bromance carries? That's the buff?
I mean, yeah, the bromance, also Ospas. I don't know if you forgot about Ospas. We have Ospas in Toronto, Yinsu.
According to Texture, it doesn't mean much. But speaking of the players, it's time to send this back down to the stage and welcome back Aspas, of course, MIBR and Genji.
Makasih Rai.
We have a lot of rookies on this stage, but the main dish, I guess, is gonna be Aspas going up against Texture once again on the global stage. They're not surrounded by the same players this time around, of course, with a new map pool coming in as well. We spoke about this already, and we anticipate a highly competitive match.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I see a lot of similarities between these two teams. Neither of them play super crazy, like, you know, peak of the meta type comps. There's a lot of older style compositions, a lot built around their duelists, finding opportunities, especially jet picks out of Ospas, these types of things. And it comes down to a strong macro game built around very talented players.
And I know Fraud is someone that prides himself on the strength of his game plans. And when Sunset first map,
Instant sunset pick. I actually love the bans as well. Makes a lot of sense.
Super target bans here coming in. MIBR do not want to play on Genji's Lotus. Genji absolutely don't want to go anywhere near Icebox. No, he tears that up. But honestly, what we get is a pretty interesting map pool because A, Sunset, haven't seen these teams on it, but it's two very small maps that aren't so much focused around getting an operator online, up until if we get to a Decider Ascent where it becomes the duelist show again.
Man, these three maps, I could not be more excited for this matchup. Sunset first as a pick on its first introduced into Masters Toronto this year. I truly wonder what comp is MIBR going to run. And Genji on Haven. Genji's always ran master classes on that map. Always a treat to watch the macro.
This is a very, it's risky, but it's also not, right? MIBR picking the Sunset. There's no footage of them on this map. We wanted some of the other teams to just have the balls to pick it, but they haven't done it so far. And if they were to take map 1, I think their chances are incredible in this series.
Yeah, honestly, I'm curious if MIBR are going to be rocking with the Neon on Sunset, because I think that
Ospas
good
Neon?
there. Ospas Neon?
Yeah.
I think it's time, personally.
Yeah?
Finally, that would be such a treat to watch.
I wouldn't hate the Waylay either. Is that too much of a cope?
Ospas Waylay?
Yeah, I reckon.
You can imagine. It's just...
Yeah.
I don't think I've even seen him play it so much in rank, so that would be a treat as well to watch.
I fear I am not a Waylay believer, Sue. Sorry.
If it was anybody that can way slay on this stage, it would be Aspas.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. Yeah. Thank
Don't
you
know
for
if I believe
enabling
in
me.
that.
Thank you for enabling me. But what about the other side of this for Genji? Again, not the same roster since we've seen them at Champs, as Masters Shanghai. And as we take a look at the agents, so like Texture is going to be hovering the Reyna.
Yeah, you get your little Waylay hover in there as well. I do want to say, like, in regard to... Wait, actually, that's a deadlock insta-lock for Foxy.
Yes, it is.
Wait,
And
that's
a
kind of
Viper?
fire.
Are we seeing Viper deadlock on Sunset here on defense Genji? That would be insane.
That's kind of whack, because, okay, first of all, like, usually you're seeing, like, Cypher or Vyze is almost must-pick on this map.
Right.
You're almost always seeing that dedicated Sentinel. Deadlock as a solo Senti means you're very limited in terms of actual information you have.
I think what we're seeing here is Genji's approach to the idea that this map is typically incredibly attacker-sided. I know we haven't seen any of it at Masters Toronto, but in scrims, this map is incredibly attack-sided. So them having the Deadlock and Viper and the smokes on Omen to try to hold the initial choke might be their solution to that.
Wait, I love this Sage. No, go back, but there was a Sage over for a second. That would have been so cool. Are we gonna?
We're gonna get the Neon.
We're gonna get a Neon head-to-head.
Yeah, so we were seeing Ospas pick up a few Neon games back at the end of playoffs. He was playing it on Lotus primarily. So this is not out of his agent pool per se, but he does not have a lot of games on the agent professionally. But on Sunset, it's the right choice. I'm ready for it.
It's gonna be a hell of a first map here. Of course, with Gen G back on the global stage, we've got to bring back your casters, Achilles and Paperton as well. Have fun with this one.
Oh, there's nothing we can do but have fun with this series. MIBR going up against Gen G. Texture v Ospas once again. This is going to be a banger.
This is one of the most tight matchups we have coming into this Swiss stage. Incredible players across the board. A lot of players who have done it all on the biggest stage. Yeah, Texture and Ospas are going to be the first two names everybody's looking at, but there's so many talented players beneath them that are going to be doing some big things. I've been really impressed with Zenom, watching him over in Americas. He's done a really good job. Verno has slotted in so nicely for MIBR coming over to this team. He has integrated so quickly. Beyond impressive what he's been able to do.
Yeah, obviously both squads as well having some of those rookies here that are finding their footing for the very first stage at a global event. Ash there for Gen G. But Toronto, are you ready to get into this series? It is certainly going to deliver. Let's go ahead and jump right into the pistol. Ospas taking a tad bit of damage here in mid, just a stray shot through the smoke. Finds him down to 75 HP.
Trying to find a way in through the market. They're going to be given access to the Deadlock util there, blocking off the front of that site.
Headshot. Connecting there onto Verno. Ash with the cleanup, able to find him. Sheriff in hand. Ospas again taking damage, just eating it here on the entry. Does manage to crouch down, stays hidden for the moment. Foxy 9 finding Cortezia, however, at the same time, and now Zenom's going to be eliminated. Ospas will fall. It's going to be Artsy to try to clutch this out. Finds the first, cannot quite get that transfer. Gen G taking the opening pistol.
Yeah, looking really clean. Looking like they've got some good ideas behind this Deadlock. I think this might be the first time we've seen Foxy play it that I can remember. But anyway.
He's played it, but obviously not on Sunset.
Yeah. But this is really curious to see because they've got some ideas to try to block off that front B entrance, and then they overstack mid to make sure that they're going to be able to clean up any entry from that angle. And they do a phenomenal job of it. Ash, another big question mark, one of the newest players we have here in Pacific on Gen G. He has stepped in nicely as that info initiator generally, was playing Teho quite a bit for them. Now, of course, with the nerfs, going to be switching over into the Sova role and gets 2 big kills with that Sheriff to open things up. A bunch of Guardians for Gen G. Shouldn't surprise anyone. They are big fans of that gun.
That they are. So a little touch of damage there. Orb going to be picked up. Fast track that Rolling Thunder. Swing onto the corner. Karon, the one tap. The spike now on the floor. Slide across the way. Karon still wreaking havoc. Caprizia able to peel one back. Karon will fall. A weapon to be lost, but that's about it. Texture sliding right up into Verno's face. Greets him with a 3K, and it's going to be Gen G. Overall, a very clean anti-eco.
Yeah, so far so good. Got some good reads on the map. I mean, for Gen G, it's all about map control. That is the way they want to play this game. They want to pressure you. They want to use the Sentinel utility to really block off one site, the access to it. They want to make sure that you're not going to be able to work that part of the map. And then let Texture control another side. That's typically how you're going to see them roll. And that opens up the map for Munchkin to try to find his timings, to go for those lurks. I was talking to Coach Alex from PRX the other day.
Karen's off the races already.
He's having fun, and oh boy, we already lose Ospas.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. About 6 seconds into the round. There's 2 players laying there inside of B main. Ospas dead, and that's all of your entry power taken out of your hands here.
But look how aggressive they are on the map right now. You've got Karan all the way pushed down A main. He has so much info, and they get that early kill, and they immediately use the safety and the comfort of the Deadlock utility to fall back onto the B site to open things up. Now, this is good work by MIBR to open up mid. Just got Ash here watching it right now.
Hold it back is Ash. Okay, welcome to the global stage. Finds himself 2 quick kills. Verno going to be eliminated. It's now just Shenum to try to stay alive and hold on to this weapon. No chance of recovery whatsoever. To swing in, finds a headshot, will stop it from being a flawless. See if he's going to be able to find some more to slow down the bankroll here of Gen G. Because right now it's about to spiral out of control. Some noise made. They know that he's tiles, and Karan is there on the prowl. 3-0 start with a bonus conversion. Gen G looking strong thus far on Sunset.
Yeah, I mean, really out of the curve right now, our Gen G. And I was going to say that Coach Alex from Paper X told me that he hates playing against Gen G. He finds them to be one of the most annoying opponents to go up against because of the map control they take, the way that they're trying to just cause problems on your flanks, on your backsides. They are so difficult to get through. They lock down sites so well. And all of that came to fruition there with a little help from Ash just having a tremendous double kill up at top mid. That is huge. Some stingers, couple sheriffs for MIBR. See if they can find a thrifty and get themselves on the board.
Could be a big way to try to just get the ball rolling here. Drone able to spot out at least the one. Not sure if Ash had gotten scouted. Cage down, Foxy already within it though, so not going to be giving over any information, and that means that Cortezia does get taken down. Outspots now, once again, drop. Texture trying to play for one. It's going to be good for one, get some damage across onto the other. They want to try to recover this weapon. Ping out onto Verno. He's able to go ahead and scoop up the Vandal, a chance to maybe deal a bit more damage to Karan. Low on HP, but still finding the headshot. Back to back. It's a 3K for the Omen. 4-0 start. Gen G not allowing any thrifties.
Yeah, they're so active on the map, putting some pressure on towards A main. Foxy again, really clean. Trying to get Ospas going. Karan having none of it. Texture just says, well, they've got weak guns. I'll just see what I can get done. So Karan just steady. A player who was impressed last year. Had a few ups and downs this year. But overall, we still know what he's capable of when he's at his best. And he is a difficult player to go up against, especially on the defender side.
Yeah, so early timeout. Necessary one called here from MIBR. See what Coach Fran's going to be able to do to try to right the ship here. Get the players back into the action. Thus far, just one kill on pretty much everybody on MIBR at the moment. Ospas 0-4-0. Munchkin, no charges towards a Viper's Pit. He's gotten zero involvement in any of the action. Hasn't died, hasn't gotten an elimination, just has one assist to his name.
Maybe we can look at Munchkin's econ rating after this.
Oh,
see
boy.
What that's going to look like a little bit. But, I mean, Karan is finding...
It's a flat zero.
It is, yeah. He doesn't need to do anything. Just buy some guns for other people. But this has been pretty solid. I mean, the defensive ideas here, getting really aggressive at the points of attack early, then kind of peeling back, taking that early man advantage, and then forcing MIBR to make some moves. And they've been hitting some disgusting shots along the way. So Gen G, one of the teams that... when it came to the three teams that came out of Pacific, a lot of people are saying this may actually be the best team of the three. Despite them falling to RRQ there in the grand finals, I think this Gen G team, if they keep looking like this, who knows? But still a lot of work to do, of course. And Sunset, a map that I was pretty curious about for them, because going back to 2024, they started off really hot on this map. They were really, really good. But as the year went on, they fell off. They started to lose to teams in Pacific. So going back with a very different comp, though, a very different look than what we saw last year.
And that was one of the things, was that inflexibility from Gen G, saying, no, we think this is still good enough, not really being willing to make pivots in the compositions. That has changed.
I mean, the only thing you're keeping is the Sova and the Omen, so that's really impressive that they've been this well prepared.
Reveal onto Munchkin. He's able to strafe back. Karan dropping down off the top here, and Market re-swings the corner. Chenem going to be taking down Texture, second kill. Cortezia hits the floor. The operator's singing out here for Gen G, and the timeout is not going to lead to much of anything. It's a flawless in response. Gen G now 5-0. The economy once again kicked back here for MIBR.
They're everywhere. They're so active in their micro position. They're going high-low on you. Karan swinging out around a box when you're not expecting it. He starts out high. They go low. Munchkin's up on top of the box. And I mean, this is so difficult to read, the defensive positions of Gen G. And you probably wonder coming into this map, the Des talked about it, this is an attacker-sided map. Usually, Gen G gets to pick which side they go for.
Then you can't. Can't do that.
And another big thing, that operator, once it gets into Texture's hands, that's when other teams start to crumble. He is one of the best in the world when it comes to that gun.
Quick little jiggle peek there on the angle. Damage not suffered. 2 Guardians here for the side of MIBR. Rest of the players with Sheriffs. These Guardians, they are weak though. Glass Cannon. Karan going on a walkabout. Strafing down. He's going to catch Util in hand here. Let's see, trying to set up for that fault line. Instead falls to the wayside. Caron looking for a little bit more. Munchkin going to be taken down. Caron does fall. Verno, some very nice shots. Brings this back into a 3v3. Weapons to be scooped up. As Dart, however, will still get the reveal. Weapon upgrades here. As they get Cortesia joined in as well, so he'll take the Guardian. Texture getting on a deeper line. Realizes that they're not playing around a main, so now mid has to be a concern.
Ash going to be called upon again to maybe come up with a huge play to try to shut MIBR out of the round.
Makes noise.
30 seconds
Cuts back
left.
over in towards Boba. The slow creep up seems like he's got a read on this, but is he going to be able to hold the line? Faces forward, finds the first. Ospas answers back. 2v2. Foxy9 still here on the site. Ospas on the peak, immediately shut down. What a shot from Foxy9. The net getting the connection, and Foxy getting the headshot. 6-0.
What a round here for Foxy, a player who had a short stint on the bench for Gen G and has come back with a fire underneath him. He has been incredible for the second half of stage one. He has been lighting up Pacific, and he's doing a phenomenal job again. I mean, his site anchoring has improved so much this year. He is such a fearsome opponent to try to get through because of that incredible individual skill that he has. And when he can make good decisions on the back of it, Gen G will be in full form and will be a fearsome opponent for anybody in this event.
4 ults to work with here on the side of MIBR. As swing around the corner, there's the Hunter's Fury. Ospas having to dodge these. Falls down to 45, quick cancel. Venom is able to find one. Munchkin.
Bro.
Dealt with. Falls down to 45, quick cancel. As Venom is able to find one. Munchkin dealt with. As Caron arrives on the TP, gets himself safely into the back of sight once again, dodging out that stun.
But because of
Ospas, the slow walk forward, scoped in, trying to clear out the angle, and Ospas has the headshot. Up now on the floor, MIBR pole position to try to get the first round win. See if Shenham's going to be able to hold down this angle, but Caron almost finds him sleeping. Still trying to flush him out. A bit of a back and forth here. One that Caron does manage to win. Spike now going to be planted here on the A site. Hunter's Fury available for Verno if he can play in a disconnected position. As Ash gets flipped into the open, and he just takes the fight, and he takes out Artzine's head. Hunter's Fury no longer a viable option. Verno having to play close. Sends out the recon. Cortesia going to be dead. Verno now into the 1v3. Finds the first to defuse, being held. Shock Dart will connect. The screen is good. Looking for the clutch. Another shock dart at Caron's feet, takes him slowly. Verno gets the fade away. The 3K into the Red Bull clutch. MIBR are on the board.
Man, that is so back and forth, but Verno breathing life here into MIBR. And that round looked like it might be Gen G going from a 3v5 into winning. These shock darts and the follow-up spray, perfect. Just understanding these angles. Talked about at the beginning how impactful he's been coming in for MIBR. And that right there is a huge round.
Huge performance from him. I mean, he's got the whole rest of the team. He's got the same number of kills collectively there. Verno's impact certainly being seen. Heavy stack on this A site, though, from the side of Gen G. Three players in position. Ready to try to intercept this attack.
Changed up the deadlock positioning.
Spots position noted. Foxy ignoring that. Tries to go in for the ultimate, but it's going to be canceled as he gets shut down. Fantastic shot there from Artsy that saves Ospas' life. Tucked into the corner. Hunter's Fury, no damage found, no ping reveals. MIBR making the decision to go ahead, slowly back away. Munchkin quite far forward, though, in B main. Maybe able to catch them by surprise. He's ready to swing out, but they know that they've given up their space, and now he's been spotted. Has to peel back.
Oh, Cortesia had an opportunity there to take the operator out of the round. Couldn't quite convert.
Would have been a big pick there, but he's going to make up for it by finding the headshot there on the Munchkin. Relay pulled the holder in position for the time being, but Ping reveal off the neural theft. They know exactly where Texture's at, but they can just
30
ignore him.
seconds left.
Go for the spike plant.
Spike planted.
Overdrive is available. Do they want to try to commit that here in the 3v4?
They've got no real great ability to pressure. Oh, they're going to go for it.
Pops it. Fast lane going to be sent. Some spam coming his way. Slides in. He's able to find Artsy. Karan will be there for the quick trade out. Now we go into a 2v2. Both players playing here in main. Smoke down. The TP in. Defuse being started. The overdrive though from Aspas. Tearing them asunder as Ash. So very low. Eventually will get flushed out. Verno collects both kills.
Another wild round. The pace of these have been incredible. And a lot of that is because Gen G normally likes to get aggressive early in the rounds, but this time they play a little further back. They give up some of that space intentionally. Foxy9 was still hanging on to his barrier mesh as well. Wasn't able to use the ult or given the opportunity to throw down some of that, so you couldn't really stall them out. And they took a lot of map space because of that. They're able to claim some mid control with Cortezia, keep Texture off balance, and then find a really nice kill onto Munchkin. Isn't able to really find those lurks just yet. Now he's got a judge, trying to get things turned around. See if they read this.
Economy whittled away at here on both sides. Do they want to actually commit into the position? They're reading it, but they're unable to find the opening kill. It's going to be even more damage dealt. I'm taken very, very low. Shots out. Cortezia having to back away, but now they've had kind of both site access points. Door just slammed in their faces. What does the call end up being here for MIBR?
Well, yeah, you remove the Neon, you remove the breach. It's so difficult now to make an entry. You got to get a good paranoia, good recon maybe, but it's still a tough ask for MIBR.
Recon confirming that presence still here. Feels like the entry in from market from Cortezia is going to have to be absolutely monstrous.
It's been pinged out by Gen G.
I mean, he only had 2 HP, but
30 seconds
still
left.
just able to find him blind through the smoke off of timing. Verno similarly does get tagged up as well. He's now out into the open. Foxy9 makes his presence known. Net will not connect. Verno have to fight his way out of a very difficult position. He's able to do so with a nice shot there onto Foxy9, but getting the remainder, not quite going to be possible. Gen G get themselves up to 7, guaranteeing a lead at the half.
I'm really impressed with Ash so far here on his international debut. So it's really hot. One way to get Munchkin going, get him into a tricky spot with a judge and find some value. 3 kills for the IGL. He just loves to find those moments, find those weaknesses. You know, he's learning from what he saw in previous rounds. Hey, they're not really taking a lot of B main control if they're not contesting it early. I bet I can tuck into this corner and catch him completely off guard. He's just so good at reading his opponents. Ash playing a little bit further back, setting up for the crossfire with Texture. Inside A main is a weaker buy. Verno with the hero rifle.
Little bit of noise being made here. Texture just walking forward. And, oh, a little bit of movement. He cannot find that shot, but he quick scopes back in to take down Aspas. 3 peeks, finds himself a second. Just one by one having a fall, but Artsy with a nice shot. He's able to go ahead and put that operator back down onto the floor.
It's bought a ton of time, though, for the reinforcements to arrive for Gen G. And MIBR seemingly don't feel like they have many other options but to commit to this.
Not exactly the weapon that you want to pick up to try to utilize on the attack on this site, but Shenham is able to make work of it. Get some value from that operator. There's still an opportunity here for MIBR, but now it starts dwindling.
Spike down A.
Spike going to be left on the floor. Just trying to slowly swing further and further. Try to gain some line of sight into A, but now he's going to be smoked off. This operator not likely to find much value at all.
30 seconds left.
Shot dart in from behind, and Verno unable to find the kills. And I'm just going to be ping revealed out. Not much else to be done here. Has to go for the timing shot, but Ash will flush him out. 8-2, Gen G back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean, you just get that operator right back over to Texture. A little bit off on the first one, but the follow-ups were good. You just don't have many other choices. Love the way that Karan is playing on site, not giving Zenom the the chance to really do much with that operator. Never gave him the angles, was aware of the situation. Good coordination for Gen G. Really in control here on this defender side. And it's gonna have to be another timeout for MIBR.
Always the toughest pill to swallow, having to commit both of these in that first half, but just given the circumstances, the state of things, it's absolutely necessary.
No, you have to. I mean, they just really haven't been able to find much success other than the rounds where Gen G wasn't playing aggressive early, where they weren't taking control of the mains. Those were the rounds that they were able to get it done, and Gen G just went right back to creating pressure early. And that is completely throwing MIBR off. They're not used to teams being that aggressive. But Gen G, again, loves that map control. That is what this team is all about. It is setting up your team to make it impossible for them to get through. And even if they do, then you've already got lurks going. You've got other things happening, and you're able to respond quickly.
All right, well, back into the action. We'll see if this can lead to a couple more round wins. MIBR still with an opportunity to try to make this an 8-4 half, recovered as much as humanly possible.
Guys,
have a rolling thunder available to try to make